All right, welcome on in to another episode of Oh So Curious Times DCU Daily. As always, we have got a full house stacked full of news and, well, reviews and everything else in between. We're going to talk about DC, we're going to talk about Marvel. If you clicked on the thumbnail, we're talking Avengers Doomsday, we're talking Peacemaker, we're talking Summer of Superman, we're talking Superman Day coming up on April 18th. We have to get into so much more beyond that. Of course, we are reviewing Hell of a Summer. We're looking ahead to the Amateur, and to do that and so much more, let's get the show started. All right. Well, welcome on in. I'm back and happy to be here. With me today, we've got a couple of co-hosts. You might notice an empty chair, but for the time being, we've got Lizz, and then we've got an Evil Dead poster. We're gonna hit that news intro, and then hopefully by the time we return, that Evil Dead poster will have been replaced by somebody who's a bit more alive. So we'll see you on the other side of Ryan Gosling's amazing, beautiful voice of Ken. Yeah, we'll see you with the news.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
Robert
You're
Downey.
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the.
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see Corbin.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. Well, it's time for the news. And yeah, the Evil Dead poster is still sitting there. But we'll get started without John for now. It's not just myself today, as always. Of course, I've got Lizz. How are you doing today, Lizz?
Hello. I'm very well. Hope everyone is well. Hope we're having a nice start to the week. And yeah, lots to talk about.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's dive straight into the news. We've got a packed show today. I mean, yesterday you and I were talking about a Minecraft movie. It was breaking records, and remember we talked about how when the final numbers would come out that it might have done even better than what we were looking at when we did the show. I think the number we saw was we saw like 157, right? 157 million dollars. The final number ended up being even higher, 163 million dollars, and then it was well over 300 million for the worldwide box office. Now this actually came in higher than even we talked about. We compared it to Barbie, we compared it to Super Mario Brothers. Well, it's better than the Barbie opening, and then it's definitely the record for the biggest video game picture opening of all time. And
all the
you know what?
Chads, Brads, and Dads, man. All
Warner
the Chads,
Brothers,
Brads, and Dads.
It's just, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a big fan of Warner Brothers as a studio. Like, obviously everybody knows Disney is always great and does everything well in terms of like making money at the box office. They might not make the best movies, but like they know how to make money. Warner Brothers seems to struggle with that. So with that in mind, I mean, hey, for once you're seeing a Warner Brothers picture do this kind of numbers. I mean, obviously Barbie did it, but it's Barbie was what, like 2 years ago. So there's that. Now, as far as the final tally goes, 163 million is just a little bit like 1 million more than 162 that Barbie did. These are the numbers that Warner Brothers used to do with like the Harry Potter movies back in the day,
right?
Or they would hope to do with the Superman movie this summer. Of course, they did a pretty. It wasn't as high for the Batman, but it was over 100. We know that for Jack Black, is his biggest opening at the North American box office. It opened up well. He was also in Super Mario Brothers movie, so it's well ahead of that, which was 146 million. This is over like close to 17 million more than that. For Jason Momoa, it's his second biggest after Batman v Superman. I mean, hey, Batman v Superman, people might not remember it as the greatest movie of all time, far from it, but it was certainly a huge, I think it opened up to like 189 or something back in the day. And then Justice League obviously was 94 million. So Jason
again,
Momoa,
it just goes to show you the power of marketing, right?
the power of marketing. I mean, Liz, this also kind of gets close to, remember I was mentioning Harry Potter. Harry Potter's last movie, The Deathly Hallows Part 2, made 169 million. So this comes very close. Hello, John. We'll catch you up in a second, but
I got it. I understand.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
It's Minecraft.
It's Minecraft. So
I cannot wait. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait, Daniel. I can't wait, Elizabeth, for fucking Hollywood to take all the fucking wrong lessons from this movie and make shilled, gross, stupid, disgusting, and horrible video game adaptations to mimic Minecraft's success.
I'm waiting for the Minecraft theme park. That's
just when we thought we were in a golden age of video game adaptations, thanks, Warner Brothers, for taking a gigantic fucking loathsome dump on the entire gaming fandom. Fuck you, but here we are.
But it's not even their fault. It's the Chads,
kind
Pads,
of
and
their
Dads
fault.
that are seeing it multiple times and turning it into this cult-like event. It's not even their fault. Like, people aren't seeing it for the cinematic prowess that it is. They're seeing it to act like feral raccoons in the theater.
Because of that, I genuinely believe, and I'm saying this wholeheartedly, it is 100% going to be this generation's The Room. Like 100%.
Oh, yeah, that's
it's
fair,
gonna
I guess.
be
Yeah,
this
that's kinda fair.
generation's The Room.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I don't know about you guys. Yesterday in the chat, Jalen loves
people, guys.
Jalen loved Minecraft.
I hate people so much. It's sad that like Superman, I would love for it to make this money, but now it's probably not going to.
5-year-old, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to denote it. I'm not going to denounce it for what it is for their supposed target audience. If I was under 10 years of age, I would be delighted with it as well. But yeah, it's the Chads,
I'm gonna
Prads, and
eat my
Dads.
pasta because fuck you, Warner Brothers.
By Caleb speculating that you weren't in your chair, we had an empty chair. He was like, "Are you like one of those like announcement things from the Avengers cast announcement? Like, are you confirmed for the Avengers, John?"
Yep, I'm in
Get
it.
to that.
Is that what you were doing? Because
and,
you weren't here. You must have been filming the Avengers. You must have been in London doing that. Like that. That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Me and Jesus Christ have been confirmed for Avengers Doomsday.
Jesus
Hey,
Christ
they're
will
out of
probably
chairs.
be in
They're
there
out
in
of
some way or
chairs
another.
now, so
Yes, we know you're an alien, Caleb. That explains a lot.
does explain a lot, actually, especially the Jared Leto fascination. I mean, man's attractive, but
By the way, some of the records that the movie did break, Minecraft that is, the biggest opening of the year so far, well ahead of Captain America: Brave New World, which didn't even hit 100 million. This was like the first true $100+ million opening of the year. Also, I mentioned earlier, it's the biggest video game opening of all time, beats out the Mario Brothers movie from a couple of years back. And this also is a record opening for Warner Brothers Legendary's collaborative, history, I guess you could say.
listen, good for them. But I was pleasantly surprised with the Mario movie, so I was happy that they were making money because it was actually enjoyable to watch. The Minecraft movie is absolute shit. So in that regard, it met my expectation, I will say. But
I'm just saying,
these numbers don't surprise me. We said it was going to make all the money, but holy crap.
Like, here's the thing. You open the record books in a few years' time, and this is what you're looking at, right? You're looking at, okay, this movie is now in the same conversation as movies like The Dark Knight Rises, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, Clash of the Titans. I mean, Super Mario Bros. Deadpool,
one out of
Wolverine.
3 of those movies are like Dark Knight's amazing, and then you have Clash of the Titans and BVS. So,
I just think it's significant that obviously this is now the biggest. It had the biggest Saturday ever for a Warner Brothers movie ever. Period. Dash whatever. Full stop. It's not there's no other movie that Warner Brothers has ever made that made more money on a Saturday than Minecraft did, more than Batman v Superman, which previously made like 50. So it beat it by over $10 million. That's a big number. It also, of course, had the biggest the 3-day opening between Friday, Saturday, Sunday since Deadpool Wolverine, which goes to show you the state of Hollywood, that it's taken what, like almost a year since that movie came out for another movie to get close to that. It's kind of crazy to think about. Obviously biggest Sunday at Warner Brothers of all time, beating out Barbie. So Warner Brothers, for their studio, this is a big deal. Like, that's all I'm trying to say, is like, this is a big freaking deal for WB, and they're not used to this. And it doesn't happen very often.
As I said yesterday, the fans are feral. They are wild animals in the streets right now. It is bananagrams in those theaters.
And you know what a crazy stat is? Like, look at this right here. I think this is a pretty crazy number. This movie, Minecraft, and again, this is not a Warner Brothers thing. This is not anything. No other studio, no movie ever opening to over $50 million on a Friday, meaning making over $50 million on a Friday, like, has ever seen a rise like by 4% on a Saturday.
I'm curious to know if it broke, like, because some theaters were showing it Thursday evening, so I'm curious to know if it broke like Thursday night records as well. It doesn't seem like that's something that they track. Okay.
You're right. It did not do that, because we talked about it, John and I, last week. Like, it made like 10 million some odd dollars. I mean, Avengers and those movies have made way more. Like, I think Endgame might have made like 30 odd million on a Thursday alone. So it's not going to break. It didn't break those records, but like, some of these other, I mean, you might say, okay, so numbers for numbers' sake, but I'm like, these are significant things. Because again, like you said, like, whether you look at it from a marketing standpoint or you look at it from the standpoint of like, this is something Warner Brothers can build on, this is big, because obviously you're talking about, for them, this movie is now in the same kind of conversation as Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2, Batman v Superman, Barbie, like some of these biggest hits that the studios ever put out. Not to mention, it's also now the 4th biggest PG movie opening. So like The Lion King, the other 3 movies are all Disney movies. Like, the 3rd biggest opening in April, it's only behind 2 Avengers movies. It's so again, this is a big deal. That's all I'm trying, and internationally too.
Guys,
well, and again, I had seen
humanity was a mistake. God should have killed us and kept the dinosaurs.
I mean, well, I had seen my showing midday on Saturday, and it was clear that some of the people in my audience had already seen it multiple times at that point. So it's just, this is just it's crazy. It's cult like. It's got a cult like following now.
Yeah. And you know what's weird about this? I don't think even the studio, I don't even think Warner Brothers thought it was going to go this high. I don't think the projections
they did a good job with their
nearly this
marketing.
high.
That's all I'll give them that much. They did the damn thing with the marketing and getting their actors out there,
It's crazy. I mean, the amount of records this movie broke blows my mind. It's kind of crazy. It made over $313 million in just this opening weekend. We were talking about, like, is it going to be $1 billion movie? I think at this point, probably. Yeah. But Liz, we were also talking about yesterday how there's a lot of rowdy people going to the movie theater to watch this thing. What do you think about the news here that movie theaters are now starting to post signs, like warnings?
I'm
like,
glad.
Hey, if you're going to go see this movie, screaming and taking part in those stupid TikTok trends will not be tolerated.
I mean, theaters have done that in the past for other things, like the first Joker film, for example. They flat out said you cannot be wearing a mask when you come in. You cannot be carrying any props or like fake weapons or anything like that. So it doesn't surprise me, because people are, again, because especially there are little kids going to see this film with their families, and people reacting like that and jumping up and screaming. It can be very scary for younger kids that aren't aware of what's going on. So I don't blame them at all. Not to mention the fact that they're also trashing the theaters at the same time. So it's not fair to the staff. It's not fair to the other moviegoers that are there to have a good time and take their families out to watch a film. So I don't blame them at all. I'm glad they're cracking down on it. I'm glad they're trying to calm some of this chaos. Again, the guys in my theater were fairly respectable compared to what we've been seeing in the media, but I don't blame theaters for having to really take a stand about it, because at the end of the day, if somebody gets mad enough, they're going to want a refund, and these theaters get stuck giving out free passes or coupons or what have you, to make up for it. And then again, the theaters are trashed, the bathrooms are trashed, the hallways are trashed, and they have to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
It's
Guys in the chat yesterday. Who's in the chat? It was not Steven. Steven. It wasn't Steven. Who was talking? Guys, who was in the chat yesterday? Somebody was like yelling chicken jockey like nonstop.
Yeah.
I think it was Jalen. Jalen was the one doing it. Yes, Jalen
I will
Harris.
say, Dan, I appreciate your cosplay as Steve right now with the teal blue shirt. Really appreciate that.
Of course, you got it, my man.
It's just like it's so.
I am Steve.
I knew this would make money, and I knew that like people would probably see it ironically, but I didn't expect this.
Well, and so Yash is saying in the chat, I'd rather have rowdy people at the movies than no one at the movies. Listen, again, I did have people shouting out some lines in the film in my theater, and it made for an entertaining experience. But again, when you're jumping up, when you're tossing popcorn and snacks and soda and everything around, when you're being so loud and so boisterous that you're making it impossible for people to hear the dialogue and things like that. That's
even if for the Minecraft
issue we're
movie.
talking about. We're not talking about people being excited for something. I've been in plenty of showings where people have applauded for certain characters or certain situations where people,
look at No Way Home.
Like people, I mean, Lord, I was in the freaking the Twilight midnight showing for the last film when Alice had her vision and everyone who clearly didn't read the book lost their absolute fucking minds thinking the Cullens were being slaughtered. So I've been to all different levels of theater going experiences. But when you are purposely ruining somebody else's experience for your own good time, that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about people being enthusiastic. We're talking about people being assholes. And there is quite a difference.
And then the cause and effect of it is going to be people who don't go to the movies a lot go with their kids to see the Minecraft movie.
Exactly.
And then they see all these fucking assholes being like, oh, if this is how people are going to act at the movies, I'm not going to go. I'm going to go to the movies less. So it's a cause and effect. Like, okay, you have rowdy people and people are getting excited for the movies. And at first I had the same idea. I'm like, oh, people are getting excited. And then I saw a video of literally the police getting called to multiple showings. And it's like, when you get the 5-0 involved, that's not good. Like, let's not get police. And I will say something is kind of hilarious about like people were expecting like all the pew-pews with the Joker movie coming out, and meanwhile that movie just caused people to get excited over stairs. Meanwhile, like this movie, you have police getting called. And I remember reading a story where in Frozen 2 in England, in a showing of Frozen 2, a machete brawl broke out. So don't watch for R-rated Joker movies. Watch for annoying assholes in children's movies. Children's movies are where the real threat is. So, yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah,
that's
see,
the
look,
footage.
like popcorn and soda and like, God, yeah. It's like, this is ridiculous. Like, come on, guys. This is.
It just looks. You know what this looks like? This looks like a field trip from like everybody from the same class showed up to the same showing of the movie.
Yeah,
and they're all doing the same. Like, God. And then these guys are walking out like heroes. Like there's one guy goes over, is like, you guys are great, and high fives one of them. They see there's like, oh yeah, congratulations, you're getting arrested. Good job. I'm like, okay, great.
It's like, okay, yeah, people getting excited is great, but when that excitement is impeding on other people's enjoyment of the movie, again, I know it's for fucking the stupid Minecraft movie, but it's still. Yeah, I swear to God, you could look it up. And when you're impeding other people's enjoyment and you're, asking people for refunds and all this other shit, and it's gonna be a bigger and more and worse cause and effect of less people going to see the movie after all this. And that's when, like, we've been talking about the death of movies for a while. And yeah, this is great. We're seeing like box office, even this for a fucking weird, shitty movie like this. Okay, cool. Box office records. People are getting excited. But it's like at the same time, it's like when you're ruining it for other people, that's not cool. You're just being a dickhead. And frankly,
and again,
you
we're not
deserve to
talking
get
about
arrested.
excitement. We're talking about purposely being an asshole.
You're talking about maybe not like what's less than a felony but more than a misdemeanor, like somewhere in there. I forget the like exact word for it, but like
I thought that was the scale.
And no, I think there was like another word for something that's a little bit more than a misdemeanor but less than a felony. I could be wrong on that, but but when you're getting the fucking police involved, that's not something to be celebrated. That's something to be worried about.
Yeah,
you know.
Well,
So.
Well, and again, you know, somebody had said this is only encouraging it, and that's also the issue now. Is now it's getting to the point where it's like a challenge.
Here's the
for
thing.
Some of these
Here's
people.
the thing. The only time I will see this as acceptable, if like just one last thing before we move on, the only time I will find this level of rowdiness acceptable, but even then, I think about the retail workers that gotta pick up popcorn and drinks off the floor and shit. But like, let's just ignore that for a second. Is if you book the theater and do a private showing of the movie, then you can act like an asshole. Fine. Because then you are all paying for it, and then you can watch the movie and pretty much act like a dickhead as much as you want. For the most part, obviously be respectful of workers, but when you're impeding on other people's showings that aren't expecting fucking Gen Z skibbity fuckers like running with fuck up and down the aisles and shit.
And again, these folks that are causing the disruption have already gotten the chance to see the film. So, you know, that's great for you. You get to see it, but now you're purposely ruining somebody else's experience just so
it's
you
the
can
same
get
thing
some LOLs. Like, what the fuck?
When you're talking on the phone, talking during the movie, texting, being not like throwing popcorn, like it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, it's one of those situations where I think while we can't really talk, we have talked about this at length already today. I'm sure we'll get back into it later. I will say the other side of this is the flip side for studios, for movie studios, and for the movie theater owners is if this is what it takes to bring in a crowd that, you know, pays money to record breaking results, then I don't know, maybe that's the new normal. Maybe that's what movie theater experiences are now meant to be like.
Well, I said this yesterday too, that the theater etiquette has gone out the fucking door. Everybody's treating
ever since lockdown,
like it's their living room now.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Well, hey, we'll have to see. I mean, hopefully this improves because obviously they put the warning signs out. So they will take action. So guys, just you know, be a good as you are. Be when you're at home, you be a good neighbor. When you're in a movie theater,
of your fellow man.
Yeah. And speaking of being respectful of your fellow man, we usually don't talk about.
All?
We usually ironic. I meant that ironically. We usually don't talk about politics on the show, but I feel like this is one story that like directly affects the movies. So I feel like I wanted to bring it in, and we, you know, could spend a few minutes on it, and then we will get back to the norm, you know, usual scheduled programming as it were. But China, according to this report in the Hollywood Reporter today, has been mulling a ban on Hollywood film releases entirely, like as a result of the recent tariffs that have been put out there, and then China's trying to do a round of retaliatory tariffs. They've already done a round, but they're, you know, in what is potentially an escalating trade war, China might consider blocking U.S. movies, Hollywood movies, from releasing in the country entirely. Now, we have just been talking about Minecraft. Minecraft, unlike many American movies and Hollywood movies in general, whether it be American or British made, if it qualifies as English language Hollywood movie, most of those movies don't do very well in China because like the people there, the Chinese audiences generally prefer homegrown fare. And then also a lot of the policies in China promote that. You know, all the big holiday weekend releases, those dates usually go to the local Chinese cinema releases rather than Hollywood movies coming over. So we'll talk about, I think the Thunderbolts is getting a China release as well. We'll get into that later. But for example, Minecraft, it made like almost $15 million at the Chinese box office this past weekend, which was one of the highest numbers of any of the international markets. it's a significant chunk of the total amount of money the movie has made so far. But Hollywood, while they don't rely on China to like bring in the majority of the box office, it is the second biggest, and depending on who you ask, the biggest movie market in the world outside of the U.S. or North America. So it matters. Now with this kind of a ban, I think at a time when studios might already be feeling a bit of a pinch with the economy slowing down, not just in the U.S. but abroad because of these tariffs. If China blocks the Hollywood movies entirely, I mean, Lizz, I'll start with you. Like, what are your thoughts on the kind of effect that this has? It's not gonna all of a sudden stifle Hollywood, because it's like we went for years without Hollywood not really having access to China. But I mean, they're relying on it now for the last couple of decades.
Here's the problem with this.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pull a Kanye here. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about Hollywood. Or about China, for that matter. So they're only hurting Hollywood by doing this. They're only hurting the film studios by doing this. They're only hurting the actors. It's not going to make one difference or another to our president, because he hates Hollywood. He doesn't watch movies. He doesn't give a fuck about art of any kind. So, unfortunately, it's just like all of this other bullshit that we've got going on in this country politically. It's only affecting the little guys, or the Hollywood studios, but it's not going to change one lick of government or the way things are going at this moment. It's certainly not going, like, I don't like Hollywood anyway. So for libtards in LA to not get a big check, he's fine with it. So it's
this literally does
they're
nothing.
really not accomplishing any, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, John, when I was talking about the numbers, right? Like Minecraft made roughly, they're talking about here, 10% of its international gross, which it made 144 million outside of the North American market. Of that 144 million, 14.5 came from China. Now, of course, Hollywood movies don't make nearly as much in China as they used to do like 4 or 5 years ago. And we used to see like much bigger numbers, and obviously that number has declined over time. Now it's a much smaller percentage, but still, 10% of the international cume is a significant number for a movie like Minecraft. And there's other movies out there, like the Godzilla Kong movies that Legendary produces. Legendary, I think, is even partly Chinese owned. So Warner Brothers and Legendary obviously collaborated on this. So that's one of the reasons why Minecraft got such a prominent release. But what are your thoughts? I mean, do you think this, in an already very tight and struggling entertainment economy, is just another big blow to Hollywood, or will they be able to survive this? Do you think the fact that the amount of money most Hollywood movies make in China has declined over the last few years, that this isn't going to have as much of an effect on most movies, that they won't have access to China?
I mean,
if this were to happen, that is.
Look at fucking Najah 2. Like, that movie made over 2 billion just in China alone. They're going to be fine. We are, for the most part, probably going to be fine, because, as you said, it's not like the movies that are going to suffer are like fucking like the garbage that Chinese audiences swallow, like the fucking Fast and Furious franchise or the Transformers franchise. Those movies made like half of their gross from China, and it's like, is that really much of a loss, to be fair? Now, it's possible that bigger blockbusters that are, have some weight to them could be losing a lot more money, but I don't think this is going to be a total loss. I don't think it's going to be like the worst thing ever, like a lot of other people are saying, but I don't think it's going to be like, it's not going to be great either, but I don't think it's going to be bad. Like, I don't think this is going to, if you told me this, like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, yeah, I'd be like, oh shit, this is, but like, I think the last movie outside of like the Fast and Furious movies, the last movie to make this much money in China was probably Aquaman. It was probably all the pre-COVID movies. Yeah. Like the last time that like China like really, which was, God, fucking COVID was 5 years ago. Jesus fucking Christ. But so it's like, yeah, it's like essentially pre-COVID was like when China was like really giving us all these money for these movies, but now it's not as much. So I don't think it's, I think maybe that's just the optimist in me, like hoping that like it really doesn't have this huge negative effect. We're fucked, but like we knew that. So it's like, okay, just add it to the list.
the reason why this is even a story, as you can see there in the article, there were two significant figures in the Chinese political and entertainment sphere that published separate articles kind of talking about what potential countermeasures to the tariffs that the U.S. is posing on China could China pose in return, and one of them would include banning the release of Hollywood movies in China entirely. I believe like around COVID time, they had a period of time where they really didn't allow any Hollywood movies to come in anyway. So, yeah, like you said, it would have been a much bigger deal when like Hollywood movies were making like hundreds of millions of dollars in China, whereas now I think that number drops so significantly. It still hurts. It's still gonna hurt, but I don't know if it's going to.
It's not gonna hurt as much.
It's not going to be a make or break for a movie because movies like make that money elsewhere. Like, yeah, I mean, 14. Sure, if that extra 14.5 million for Minecraft wasn't there, would it still be record breaking in many ways? Yes, it would be. But obviously, it helps. I mean, you know, we're going to talk about Thunderbolts getting a Chinese release. Will Superman get it? Like because here's the thing: in China, what they do is the state authorities decide when a movie gets to release there, a Hollywood movie. It's not like Disney gets to decide, oh, we're going to put it out on May 2nd in China, Thunderbolts. Like, no, you have to go there and submit the movie. They will look through it, make sure that, you know, their censor board looks through it, approves all the content, removes anything they don't like, and then they get to tell you the date, not the studios. So that's where, yeah, will Superman get a release in China? I mean, if things go sideways between now and July, more so than they already have, then perhaps not. So we'll keep an eye on the story. I'm sure if more developments happen on this front, obviously affecting the movie going experience for folks out there, we'll let you guys know. We'll talk about it. But for the time being, we have to move on to talking about what is a parade of trailers and TV spots and commercials for all the movies we do get to watch. So Jurassic World Rebirth put out a new TV spot. It features a bunch of footage of a T-Rex that we haven't seen before. This footage, it was shown at CinemaCon, so now it's kind of trickled into some of the stuff that you could potentially go see when you go see the movie for yourself. Liz, I think you got a chance to see this before the show started, and this was a TV spot that they played during the women's championship game, the UConn one, go UConn Huskies, champions again, but. Yeah, you get to see a T-Rex attacking people in the water. You get the Marshall Ali shot of like waving. Of course, you got Scarlett Johansson. Some of this footage we have seen before in the trailer that was released. Some of this footage is new. What are your thoughts on what you saw here?
Again, just like Fast and Furious, the Jurassic fans are die hard. This is going to make $1 billion. Everybody that I know is pumped for this film. I know maybe we don't understand it. I like the Jurassic films, regardless of the fact that the worst Pratt is in some of them. Or the worst Chris.
The worst Pratt?
Yeah, the worst Pratt. I know a couple Pratts, so he is the worst. But no, I mean, again, these folks know how to sell a film. They're going to get butts and seats. Even if the popcorn bucket is shit, people are going to buy it. They're going to see it multiple times. I know so many folks, especially, families, so many friends of mine with kids. We can't wait to take the kids out to see this. They love the dinosaur movies. So
it's like bloody and fucked up. I don't know why you would take kids.
You would think it would give little kids nightmares, but they're all about it because it's dinosaurs. So like all's forgiven. It's wild, but it's going to do another bill, and good for them. Good for Scarlett Johansson. Get that check, babe. Good for Mahershala. I enjoy them. I'll enjoy this one. I mean, for Christ's sake,
kids love one singular dinosaur, not dinosaurs, just one singular dinosaur.
Well, the T-Rex always has to come out on top. That's just the way it goes.
That's just how it be.
That's exactly.
And then the Velociraptors are like a distant second.
Yeah.
You got
to most screen time, so make it.
It's like Velociraptors are the Power Rangers and the T-Rex is the Megazord. Like, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And
Chris Pratt is it's never mind. That's where the analogy breaks down. We're gonna keep the. But hey, you know what? Speaking of kids loving dinosaurs, cue Jeff Goldblum. It's like you guys, we're so busy trying, like, asking, like, how, like, you forgot to ask, like, should be, or like whatever the quote was from somebody, figure that out. But John,
life finds a way.
Life finds a way. What killed the dinosaurs? Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore because the
Caleb
dire
called
wolf
you
is back.
Lizzie.
The-
Yeah, I was ignoring it. We're not going to talk about it.
Anyway.
Definitely not. It's the
Thank you,
Ice
John.
Age.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, guys, by the way, hit the like button while you're here. We're not seeing as many likes here. Come on. We really appreciate that. Hosea's in the chat. Hello, Hosea. No, we have not talked about the Predator trailer yet. That is in our
Not
parade
yet,
of
but I
trailers.
have things
We're
to
getting
say.
to it. And John has definitely got a few things to say about that. Stay cool, bird boy. Thank you, Ron. We have that one somewhere as well. But anyway,
but we
guys.
gotta calm down on the Batman and Robin references, or
Yes,
Caleb is gonna
please.
start singing
Caleb is-
Doug Walker's The Wall, and we don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that. But Liz, they brought the dire wolf back to life. It's been extinct for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But they've created a pup, and you know what?
Yeah.
They're pretty gosh darn cute.
Everybody loves a dog.
George R.R. Martin got a chance to hold a few of them too. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
he
needs to be holding a keyboard and a mouse. That's what he needs to be holding. Jay, like, are you kidding?
Or a pen, and a notebook. I don't know.
Every time I see him leave the house, I get mad now. Like, you're pissing a lot of people off with your freaking extracurriculars there, George. Listen,
literally the first comment. Awesome. Now finish the content.
I'm telling you. Listen, I have been following the story for quite some time because these people are also talking about bringing back the woolly mammoth. I don't necessarily have a problem with this because they did it for a reason. They're trying to help stabilize the DNA and the breeds that we currently have right now. So they're going to be encouraging crossbreeding, and so in that regard, I'm okay with it. But again, we talked about this off air, and I had said, if cloning's a no-no, why is suddenly bringing back extinct species all good? It's really strange to me. And again, I also feel like if the species went extinct and it was our fault, if they went extinct because of mankind, whether we were impeding on their territory or we overhunted them, which is what happened with koalas in Australia for a time. So I get that, like, we're trying to correct. But like the woolly mammoth, for example, pretty sure they didn't go extinct because of human error. So maybe let's pump the fucking brakes a little bit. But okay, I mean, listen, the world's on fire anyway, so it's just, like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if they're gonna release them out in the wild and they become disruptive to some biosphere somewhere where they all of a sudden are the chain of existence and survival gets.
Let's just lay the foundation for Jurassic reality.
We're getting GTA 6 before we're getting these last two books, so like
we're gonna get Batman Part 2 before we get these last two books. Jesus.
I mean, Liz, you also mentioned that the next thing this company is looking to do is bring back the woolly mammoth. So
right, and that's I'm saying I don't know if that's necessarily the right move. Like,
see, but here's the thing. But
I also see this shit, and I'm like, how about we put all of that money and all of that technology and all of that education and just continue to work on the conservation of the species that we do have that are going extinct right now. Like, I mean, I just feel like we're creating more problems for ourselves when it's like, we've got enough going on. We have enough.
Or like,
right
here's an
now.
idea. Why don't we spend all that money, time, intelligence, and effort on, like, I don't know, finding the cure for cancer? That would be nice.
Right. And listen, again, if something like this leads to that, then cool, I'm going to shut the fuck up. But I don't see that happening. I just see it as like, cool, now these guys are going to appear in a zoo, in like a specialized like extinction
I think you're talking about dodo
zoo,
birds, Caleb.
and we're going to make all kinds of money. So I don't know. Like, listen, I appreciate science for science sake, but some things maybe you shouldn't be fucking around with. That's all.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so don't bring back the
We're wondering,
you know what's crazy?
Whether or not if you could, but you didn't stop to think if you should. Yeah, the whole quote, that all shit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go. There's the quote. But yeah, because it's surprisingly, it's eerily similar to, like, again, the original Jurassic Park movie. The idea was they were doing these experiments and bringing these animals back to life. They talk about it in the movie because there's exactly those benefits they can use that to research, like, you know, how they were surviving, and, like, you know, where they have traits that we can explore and study, and other medical advancements. And then, you know, obviously they go a step too far. So dude, so come on, Jose, that is just not cool. Yes, he's joking though, but no, it's Liz, seriously, this similar. Oh, okay, we already talked
not
about
wrong one, my bad. You deleted the comment, so I clicked on the wrong thing. It's your fault. Anyway.
But Liz, it's like, that's literally how the first Jurassic Park movie starts.
Exactly.
So
this is what I'm saying. Again,
it's...
like I said, if they went extinct because of us, sure, let's correct that mistake. But the world has changed so much since that species was around, that this still may not necessarily be a good thing. Like I said, if they're keeping them in the facility, if they're not letting them go wild, like you said, Dan, if again, as they said, they brought them back for a specific reason and trying to sustain the species that we do have that are wild right now. Sure, I can see the merits for sure, but I can also see that this is a slippery fucking slope. So again, why cloning bad? Why bringing back extinct species from thousands of years ago good? I don't understand. But okay, we'll fuck around and find out. That's all, you know? That's all.
I guess we will. I guess, you know, they did fuck around, and I guess we'll find out. But at least this summer we'll find out just how good or bad this Jurassic World Rebirth movie is. Because now, I mean, you know what? They need to just do like a tie-in. They need to like bring the direwolf to the red carpet premiere. They're like, you know, the next thing is or like, you know, they're making a new Ice Age. Do you guys think that they will have the woolly mammoth brought back? Like, there'll be a baby woolly mammoth walking around by the time we get the Ice Age 5, I think it is. The next Ice Age movie comes out. Can you imagine?
Wild.
Like a full circle moment. What a full circle moment that would be.
And what a mind fuck for Dennis Leary. Like, who knew his career was going to lead him to like go visit a woolly mammoth? You know what I mean? Like, because you know that they're going to do that. They're going to shoot all the actors.
It's just crazy how they can restore the dire wolf. They can restore the woolly mammoth, but yet they still can't restore the Snyderverse. Eat a dick. Eat a fucking dick. James Gunn sucked his dick.
What James Gunn had to do with any of that?
Because James Gunn's doing the new DCU, that's why.
All right, okay. All right.
Oh, hey, look,
okay,
Wes Anderson makes a Wes Anderson movie for the 12th time in a row.
Let's talk about the next trailer. So, The Phoenician Scheme. I saw the trailer. I have no idea what this movie is going to be about. Having seen Asteroid City and really not getting anything out of it.
You have no idea.
No, I don't know. Liz, you tell me. Go ahead. You tell me. What do you think this movie is about?
So Benicio del Toro is a billionaire, and he almost dies. So I guess he has like some kind of epiphany when he survives this plane crash. He has 10 children. Only one of them is a female. She goes in to be a nun. He tells her, you're going to inherit all of my money should anything happen to me. And it looks like something's going to happen to me sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, he also decides to like make a bunch of, do some schemy shit and make a bunch of, you know, goes wheeling and dealing with the daughter in tow, kind of teaching her how he runs his business and how he makes his deals. It's kind of very Trumpian, quite frankly. And I think that's what they were going for. But, you know, hilarity ensues along the way as the gentleman keeps getting, you know, assassins keep going after him. Benedict Cumberbatch is in some ridiculous beard. A lot of the same Wes Anderson favorites are coming back for this one, but we do have some new actors making an appearance as well. Bryan Cranston is going to be in this. Michael Cera is going to be in this. And listen, I understand a lot of people are not fans of Wes Anderson. I adore Wes Anderson. I love his films. All of his films bring me absolute joy and delight and comfort, quite frankly.
You can only find this in a Wes Anderson movie, just like dapper Michael Cera carrying a pipe bomb.
I'm just beyond excited. But again, that's me. I understand this is not everybody's cup of tea, and that's totally fine. But I will be in the theater for this. I'm so very excited. And I love Benicio del Toro as well, because I feel like the only time you see him doing something different is in a Wes Anderson film. So I'm looking forward to this. I like that he's got top billing for this one. So we're going to get a whole lot of him in this movie too. I'm excited for it. Again, I know not everyone feels that way, and that's all right. But Wes Anderson is my guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of his like deadpan, like kind of vibes and expression. I will say I did really like Grand Budapest Hotel from I watched that a couple of years ago now.
So good. Yeah. Pandemic.
I thought that was great. Royal Tenenbaums is okay.
That's probably my least favorite, actually.
I did not like Fantastic Mr. Fox. I felt that was not very good. I didn't really like Rushmore until like the last act of the movie.
Yeah, also one of my least favorites. Yep.
So and I didn't see like Asteroid City, but I will say the one thing I like about Wes Anderson, the thing I respect about Wes Anderson, this man is the only fucking person in Hollywood that knows what saturation is, and I really fucking appreciate that. Like, say what you will about Wes Anderson, maybe his movies don't make sense, maybe his movies are annoying, maybe they're weird, maybe you don't like them. Fine. At least he's the only motherfucker in Hollywood that has enough clout to put actual fucking color into his fucking movies. So you know what? He has my respect for that. Because God fucking damn it, we need more Wes Andersons to put fucking color in these goddamn movies, and less John M. Chews that want to make the wonderful Land of Oz into a shit sepia tone nightmare. So yeah, I will take that. So I don't know if I will watch this, but I do like the cast, but all of Wes Anderson's cast are great. So I don't know, maybe not. If I'm bored, maybe I'll go see it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. Listen, I mean, I would recommend John check out Isle of Dogs. It actually, I wasn't looking forward to it, to be honest, when it first the trailers first came out for it, but I'm really glad that I saw it in the theater. I loved the hell out of that movie. I really like his style. I myself personally like really dry humor, so I like,
I like dry humor. I think Wes Anderson's
I like jokes that you
too dry for me.
Yeah. Well, I like jokes you have to think about, and there is a comedian that describes him as whimsical. Wes Anderson whimsy, and I dig that about him. I find all of his films to be extremely entertaining. Again, Rushmore, not a huge fan of that one. Royal Tenenbaums, not a huge fan of that one, but Moonrise Kingdom, Asteroid City, Isle of Dogs, even The French Dispatch, which a lot of people did not see. I really dig him. I really dig him a whole lot. Grand Budapest Hotel again as well. Moonrise Kingdom for me, like, made me really appreciate Ed Norton more than anything else that I had seen of his prior. So, he brings out some interesting stuff in all the actors that he puts in his productions.
Yeah. Well, The Finishing Scheme comes out in May of this year, May 30th, and it looks like a Wes Anderson movie. I, for one, we'll just have to see if I end up going to see it or not. I don't know. The last experience I had with Wes Anderson wasn't the greatest, so I'm a little more skeptical, but I'll give it a shot. I agree with you guys. The saturation, there's very few people who, in Hollywood.
Have you seen Isle of Dogs?
No, I have not, but I probably should. So
you love a dog movie?
Maybe I'll go see a few other Wes Anderson movies before this comes out.
So Fiona will like it too. It's a good one to watch with Fiona. I'm just gonna say.
All right, noted. Well, in that case, we're gonna move on to the next movie trailer here, because I know I will definitely, for sure, go to see this one, because Tom Cruise is hanging off of a red plane in the beginning of the trailer. And then by the end of the trailer, he's hanging off a yellow one. And at the beginning of the trailer, that red plane is chasing the yellow plane. So I'm like, you add the pieces together. To Tommy Cruise, somewhere along the way, has to transport. And there's no teleporting in these movies as far as I can concern. So he's doing it the old-fashioned way. But anyway, guys, what do you think about this trailer? This really kind of digs into the nostalgia, because they include all these shots from the previous 7 Mission Impossible movies, and again, building up to the idea that this is a finale. There's a finality to this, even though this is not like an even trilogy, because it's Mission Impossible 8, not 9. But it feels like this is the last one. This is the last Tom Cruise Mission Impossible.
Well, and stay on this shot, because the release of this new trailer, I like that this guy who has just hated Ethan for all 8 films. This guy is such a dickhead. Finally is like, yo, in this situation, let him cook, babe. Let him cook. So I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like they're purposely bringing him in, and they're like, you're the guy. And you know what? Again, Tom Cruise is the guy. Tom keep doing what you're doing. Never leave the house for anything but this, please. I beg of you. This is great. I'm looking forward to it. I loved this trailer. This is awesome. I'm all in.
Yeah. I mean, this trailer did it for me. I'm like, look, I was gonna go see this movie no matter what, but you watch this trailer and then they talk about how all of these events leading up to where we are today, and like the story of these movies, it clearly comes down to, yeah, I mean, Ethan Hunt being at the center of the
And
whole
look,
situation.
our boy.
Yeah, Ron Swanson's here. Nick Offerman.
I was shocked. I was
Get
like,
that
what the
money,
fuck is
Nick.
Nick
Get that
Offerman
money,
doing here?
baby. Good for him. Get that money, Nick.
Dude, not only that, they've got Tremel Tillman from Severance in this as well, and then they've got Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso in this. So they've got all of the big
girl.
Apple TV Plus streaming stars.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember this actor
Well, he
used
was
to
in
be
the last
Agent
one.
Carter.
He was.
He was in the last one. Yes, he was in the
So
last
I
one.
remember, but Nick Offerman wasn't in
No, he
Dead
wasn't.
Reckoning. No.
Correct.
I was
no,
like,
no, that's
what?
a new introduction.
Nick, what are you doing?
I
Oh
mean,
my God,
also,
this is
He's
crazy.
making that money,
Guys.
John. That's what he's doing. He's bringing home a bag. Good for you, Nick.
You know what's interesting? This whole room looks like it's straight out of the Cold War, right?
100%.
It's like
Probably
they're
is.
like on these boards. So I'm like, wait, what is going on? Are they like going back in time?
They're in a bunker somewhere.
There's the level is DEFCON 3
You can't
right
fight
now.
in here. This is the war room.
This looks like something out of Stanley Kubrick's, Doctor Strangelove or something. It looks, which I'm sure the irony is not lost on a movie historian like Tom Cruise. And then you see this element here where he has to like suit up and get locked into this AI machine of some kind, and this is clearly a callback to the AI storyline from the last movie. In fact, the main villain of the last movie is also in this trailer. He gets a couple of lines. You get plenty of Tom Cruise running around and from and towards things. Haley Atwell is back in this again. It just looks like the scope of the story is bigger than ever. And yeah, the one thing I did miss was not enough Simon Pegg in this movie. We got a very small amount of it. We get a lot of other familiar
By the
faces.
way, that guy's doing real good for himself as well. He's in the Image coming up. Yeah,
I'm probably mispronouncing his last name.
And the
but he's
actor in
also
the
Image.
background, he used to be in The Last Ship. He was in Top Gun Maverick. He's here. I mean, loved him. I mean, he's always playing some kind of military officer, staff sergeant or something like that. Tom Cruise running in London. Tom
There
Cruise
he is.
head to head with Simon Pegg, who might finally, I don't know, like bite the dust. That character gets put in jeopardy all the time.
Trying to save Benji. Poor Benji's always getting himself in a
Benji,
situation. That
gosh,
rascal.
I really hope they don't kill off Benji or Ving Rhames, man. I don't want either of these guys.
He
These
looks
are
like-
the
every time I
Yeah,
see
well,
this, like,
either.
he looks like he's in a hospital. Like, does Ving Rhames' character have cancer or something? Like, this is, I honestly
That's
think
the
this
weird
is
part,
what-
'cause
yeah, I feel
they
like this
didn't
is like
hint
an
at it.
Iceman send off, from Maverick. Like,
Yeah.
every time I see that clip, I'm like, ew, Vin, what's going on with you, boss?
I feel like they could kill off Palm Clemente if that's fine. You can kill her off. Nobody gives a fuck about
She's
her.
in this trailer. There's a couple of shots with Palm Clemente in this as well. I remember at the end of the last movie, she's almost like turned to the side of Ethan Hunt, like she's on the good guy's side now. So I don't know if that means that she's working with Ethan Hunt in this movie or she's still working for the other side. Just some geeky guy was saying Haley Atwell was auditioning for Killer Frost at one point during the trailer. Yeah, you could say that. You could definitely say that. Where Grace is completely frozen. They have that one shot where Tom Cruise is diving into the water and the camera guy's going with him because the shot literally follows him down. I want to see that full shot because apparently when they filmed it, like they kept going. So I'm like, the cameraman has to hit the water right, make sure the camera's pointed at Tom Cruise. The shot looks good. I'm like, all of that.
Yeah, but it could have been like a robotic, like self-propelled situation, though. They might not have had, because only Tom's crazy enough to do that kind of stunt. They're not going to jeopardize somebody else's life for that.
Yeah, it's possible, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, but here you go. I mean, we talked about it at the beginning of the trailer. Tom Cruise was on a red plane. At the end of the trailer, he's on a yellow one. And it's not like the plane got a paint job in the middle of the movie. Tom Cruise, he's asking us, trust him one last time. One big stunt, or I guess among many. May 23rd, guys. Film for IMAX. What
Memorial Day weekend
is the potential box office for this movie? Do you think this will... No Mission Impossible movie has ever made $1 billion. Do you think this one can?
It is gonna be a dead heat between the live action Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. It's gonna be wild. I'm going to see both, but everyone, like whoever's not seeing Lilo is going to be seeing Mission and vice versa. So that's going to, and again, it's Memorial Day weekend. So you get a 4-day weekend for this. It's
Plenty of
going to
people
be
going, yeah.
banana grams. It's going to go off. It's going to be popping off. I'm
So is it going to be
Miss
Lilo Impossible? I don't know. I can't figure it out. I was trying to do a Barbenheimer. It didn't work.
Mission Stitch
Possible.
Lilo Impossible.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Mission Impossible Lilo and Stitch. I don't know. We could just do that. How about that? Whatever. Lilo and Stitch: The Final Reckoning.
Mission Impossible. Yeah, Lilo and Stitch: The Final Disney Remake. Let's hope. That's what I'm calling it.
I like it.
Caleb's like global meltdown. Yeah, maybe that's Mission Impossible 9.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
I will say though, the as far as people within Paramount, according to reports, they're pretty sure this is not the last Mission Impossible movie or the last Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie. But from the people who were working on the set of the movie, they kept saying, "Hey, it feels like this is the last one." Like it felt like when they were filming the movie that this was the last one. Although the people at the studio think, well, there's probably going to be more. I mean, and hey, to be fair, after they made the first 3 movies, there was a big hiatus, and then they went back into the 4th and the 5th and the 6th, and then kept on going.
I mean, all of the actors they've been doing it for so long. I would imagine they would like to commit to some other projects at some point.
Yeah, Tom Cruise himself has like 5 other movies lined up, so I'm like, I feel like he probably wants to work on all, including a Top Gun Maverick sequel.
But again, this should be the only thing he does. Well, the Maverick sequel is fine too, but
also here the story says the movie is now set for itself to have a Cannes film premiere. Now, Cannes, of course, is one of the biggest film festivals of the year. A lot of big movies premiere there. Cannes has come to be known as one of those film festivals where big blockbusters go to premiere. Top Gun Maverick did its thing there, and it picked up a lot of steam. Indiana Jones tried to do it. It backfired. But now Tom Cruise, for the first time since Top Gun Maverick, is coming back. I don't remember if the last Mission Impossible movie premiered at Cannes or not. But certainly this one... Yes. It's Tom Cruise is certainly not a stranger to Cannes, and so here he comes. He's gonna bring the cast. We're gonna get the photo ops, all the interviews. They probably will get a standing ovation for 15 minutes. But Liz, what do you think we'll be hearing coming out of Cannes and the people who have seen the movie? Is it gonna be just unbridled praise, or are you expecting anything different?
No. It will be unbridled praise because again, this is the only thing Tom Cruise should ever leave the house for, and his deal is he just wants to set the bar higher and higher for every single project. So the stunts are going to be crazier. Again, he's jumping from one plane to another. He almost died in his underwater scene.
He broke his ankle.
Right.
Well, that was that was 2 movies ago. Never mind.
Well, exactly. So yeah. So no one is going to have a bad thing to say about it. Maybe about, maybe if the script is bad or something like that. But as far as the action is concerned, as far as the stunts are concerned, the spectacle of the thing, everyone's going to love it just like they have all the other ones. Because again, that's what we're looking to see Tom Cruise do. That's Tom Cruise at his best. That's what Tom Cruise has pretty much dedicated his life to doing at this point, is films like this. And again, testing the limits of his mortality or however you want to spin that. So no, I mean, it's gonna get crazy praise. I don't know, is it gonna win any awards? Probably not, but Tom Cruise, and again, my prediction, as more trailers start to come out, just like they did with the last film, where you saw that airplane, the motorcycle stunt, we're going to see the airplane stunt 500 times before we actually see the film. To me, I don't like it. I think
not. Yeah.
It takes some of the fun out of it for me when you see how the sausage is made. But you know what? Tom Cruise, do your Tom Cruise thing, buddy. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah. I mean, and also you mentioned the script, the story. The last several Mission Impossible movies, I think, have been pretty damn good, like really tightly written. Even though they don't necessarily, they have a process where sometimes they'll have things that they're literally writing as they're shooting. And Christopher McQuarrie has been a fantastic source of all of that creativity, not just as a writer, but also as a director. Tom Cruise, when he came out on CinemaCon stage promoting this movie last week, he also presented the award for CinemaCon's Director of the Year to Christopher McQuarrie and talked about how going all the way back to, I believe it was one of the Mission Impossibles with Brad Bird back in the day. Christopher McQuarrie came in and was like, we're trying to figure out like how to make these pieces fit, and he like wrote stuff just on the spot, and then they were like filming it as they went along, and he basically helped save the movie. So yeah, I mean, Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise have been working together for a long time, and that collaboration has, I think, in general, not missed. Even final Dead Reckoning, while I think it was probably the lesser of the previous 4 or 5 Mission Impossible movies, it wasn't bad by any measure.
No,
so
just kind of forgettable a little bit.
A little bit forgettable, but like certainly not a movie that you would look back and be like, "Oh man, that was a terrible experience." No, you saw some amazing shit in that movie. Anyway,
I will say, like, his best is easily Fallout. That was easily Christopher McQuarrie's best Mission Impossible movie.
Yes, I
think the best are probably 1, 4, and 6 are probably the best ones.
1 doesn't age very well though, but I hear you. Yeah.
I think because the thing is, it's so different.
It's what started it all.
Well, it's so different from the later movies because the later movies went more action movie. Well, the first one is like an actual spy movie. That's an espionage movie. That's more reminiscent of like Black Bag than something like the later Mission Impossible movies, where it's like this slow burn, like actually trying to infiltrate and kind of doing that shit. So I really appreciate that, and I really like that. And Brian De Palma did an amazing job. 2 is bad. It's not a good movie. 3 is I would say 3 is the most overrated Mission Impossible movie next to Rogue Nation. I think Rogue Nation is good, but it's not nearly as amazing as everyone has made it out to be. But both are still good movies. But 7 is good. Dead Reckoning is good. But
I kind of disagree with you. To me, like Rogue Nation is kind of maybe I think the second. Fallout I think is the best one, like you. But Rogue Nation I think is for me second, and then Ghost Protocol is third. It's that whole trilogy, that middle trilogy, if you want to call it that. Yeah, you can't like not include the Henry Cavill or bicep reload. You can't just.
I mean, it was so like iconic that fucking Cameron Cuff did it in Krypton after Fallout came out.
Yeah,
where he fucking reloaded the biceps. And it was so funny because like he initially did it because Henry Cavill, he's not used to fighting in like a button-up shirt, so he was like just trying to like. And it was like a tight shirt because he's a muscle boy, so everything's tight, so he has to like figure out like, okay, how do I fight? So he was just kind of trying to get his sleeves out, and then like Tom Cruise or McQuarrie or somebody saw
do that again.
Like, yo, that looks fucking
because
cool.
They were behind the camera for that, and they were like, do that again. He's like, do what again? He's like, do that again, and it's like, oh, okay, and then he does it again. And they're like, okay, we're keeping that in the movie.
Every talk show circuit for the year following the.
You know what? It was fucking cool. I'm not.
Oh, it's cool as fuck, dude. It's cool as. Ooh, we should put that in the new intro, Dan. It's cool as fuck. We should absolutely put that.
It's gonna be in there. It's gonna be in there.
Yes. Reload, baby. I love it.
It's gonna be in there alongside when Korg like tells Chris Hemsworth like, "What? The hammer jacked you off? The hammer, not the jack you. What was it? The hammer pulled you off. Never mind. I made that sound even worse than it actually was.
You screwed the.
I screwed it up. Whatever. I will say the Mission Impossible 3 is probably like. I love that, dude. To this day, Mission Impossible 3, I'm like, I want my carbon shield to have the HUDs, and I want to be able to like click and shit.
I mean, that's probably gonna happen in like 10 years time.
I actually have a little heads-up display on my car, but like all it does is tell me the speed of my car and where I'm going. Like it's not much. It's not a touch screen.
Even though I do think that Mission Impossible 3 is pretty overrated. Again, it's not a bad movie. I think it's very good, but it's very J.J. Abrams-y, and it's just the type of things I don't really like in a movie anymore. However, it worked for the time. I thought it was good, but I will say
it was better than Mission Impossible 2.
It's not Mission Impossible 2 levels bad, and on top of the fact, Philip Seymour Hoffman is excellent. I mean, he was always excellent in every movie he was in, but he was definitely one of the best villains of the franchise, easily.
Yeah.
I will say,
David Nichol is also a great villain in Ghost Protocol.
Oh, what was his name? The guy from it's funny how the 2 movies I find to be overrated are probably the ones that have some of the best villains. The guy with the weird voice, I forget his name, but he was also in Fallout.
You're talking about he was in the last trilogy of movies, right?
I don't think he was in the 7th one, but he was the villain in Rogue Nation, and then like they had a mission for Vanessa Kirby in Fallout featuring like having him escape. I forget the actor.
Sean Harris plays Solomon
Sean Harris.
Lane.
I love his voice. Yeah. It's such a weird, creepy voice.
I think
it's great.
The thing about that movie, I've never seen a movie that made you actually believe that when the hero says that the villain, if something has happened, it's because the villain wanted it to happen. Like you see that trope all the time, right? Like because the villain is always 2 steps ahead of you. I never believed that more than in Mission Impossible Fallout. And the way they then turned that inside out towards the end is when the first time I saw it, it was like watching like an Ocean's 11 montage on steroids. The way they talk about the plan, they execute the plan, and he's in the glass box by the end, and you're like, got you. And it's like, okay, you got me too, because like you said, John, one of those movies, that middle trilogy of movies was just firing on all cylinders. So I think hopefully we get back to that with Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, because Dead Reckoning felt like it was maybe a tad bit too far into the stunts and not enough story. It also felt like, why kill off Rebecca Ferguson's character? And she made it sound like the only reason they did that is because she has other stuff going on and she just didn't want to feel like she was tied down for 2 years at a time with these movies. And it felt forced. And then,
because
Haley
it felt awkward because Haley Atwell was the same exact role.
Yeah. Not to mention her character's background is nowhere near as like prepared for the world of spying as Rebecca Ferguson's character was, right?
Haley Atwell was essentially glorified Catwoman, and then she became it was a cool role. And the thing is, Haley Atwell is just one of those actresses. She should be a bigger star, but isn't. And I think her attachment to the MCU kind of like was a curse and a blessing at the same time, because yes, she was in First Avenger and like that propelled her more, but at the same time,
well, and they didn't do enough. They didn't do right by her, unfortunately.
They didn't do enough.
She had her own show, and the show was excellent. It should have gone on for more seasons. They tried to make up for it being canceled by putting her back in Endgame.
Yeah,
but
and then the Captain Carter stuff was not great.
That's what I'm talking about. Captain Carter was great. I love that show, but. Yeah,
it's no, not Agent. I'm not talking about the show Agent Carter. I'm talking about like her as Captain Carter, as in like the What If thing, which was dumb. And then she got fucking yeeted in half in fucking Multiverse of Madness for fucking no reason after Mr. Fantastic gets turned into spaghetti. So cue Wiggles song now. But yeah, it's just like it was kind of this like love-hate thing of like you had this great actress, you didn't do enough with her, and then you try to do right by her, and then she was kind of like attached to this franchise, but also not. And I feel like that stopped her from getting better roles and more roles. So the thing is, when I saw Haley Atwell, like, this is going to be great. This is going to be a big thing. And then when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, she's just Rebecca Ferguson's role, but not nearly as good or as interesting. And that was really disappointing, because I'm like, I thought this would be like the next big thing for her. Hopefully this does right by her, but
well,
whatever.
We'll just have to see. I mean, this movie, it comes out literally in a few months. This comes out before Superman, right? I forget, what's the release date for Mission Impossible?
May 14th. The premiere is May 14th.
Well, that's May 14th, but somebody let us know when it actually
released theatrically May 21st. So we talked about it. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be Lilo and Stitch versus Final Reckoning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's coming. It's gonna come really, really fast. From the time that it debuts at Con to when it releases is not that much time. So, hey, speaking of movies that are coming really fast, this will be coming out even sooner than Mission Impossible comes out, Liz. And I know that you are excited about Thunderbolts. Now, they did put out a new clip. It's not like a full trailer, so you see a lot of the same footage, but you do see a little bit more of this conversation between Red Guardian and Yelena, where they're kind of connecting more as like this father-daughter kind of the roles that they've been in.
Relationship,
Yeah, that relationship. It's just, you kind of start to see a little more of the human side of this whole situation. You also see this shot where it looks like Sentry is basically thrown most of the city into the void. It seems like, and there's very little left here, which looks very interesting. I haven't seen a movie that's treated New York that as darkly in the MCU since like Endgame, where like of course half the world was gone. But Liz, what are your thoughts on again what you've been seeing so far? Getting they've not given away the look of the suit of Sentry so far, but do you think Lewis Pullman's gonna be as good as advertised, playing probably the most powerful character the MCU has ever seen? Because that's how they're
I think
certainly
so.
advertising him so far.
Yeah, I think so. And a lot of the reviews so far of the pre-screenings have been really positive. People are saying that this is going to be one of the best Marvel films we've seen in a while. I'm all in for this one again. I've talked about this ad nauseum as well. I'm really looking forward to it. May is, I mean, aside from it being my birthday month, the best month out of the year, but this is why all the best films get released in May, all the good Marvel projects get released in May. So I am just beyond excited for the films that we've got coming in that month. So I've already got my ticket for Thunderbolts. I will be there at the Thursday showing. I'll be getting my little keychain at my theater, and I've already got the movie poster reserved at my theater. So I'm just ready to go, gang. I am ready to go.
John?
What? Oh. Yeah.
Shut up, John, you butt.
I mean, maybe I'll catch it like when it comes to Disney Plus.
I was like, and cue the applause. And John's like, there's crickets going on over there. By the way, we got Antonio in the chat as well. Hello,
hey, Antonio.
They're still using the tagline, he's the most powerful MCU character ever seen. Yes, they are. Figure drawing saying John is a hater. Yeah, well, John is clearly not John, look, I think this is probably the best MCU movie on the calendar for this year.
We'll see about Fantastic Four. That's the one I'm seeing. So
okay, all right. Well, hey, look, there's no I in team, but there is an I in IMAX. I love the marketing. Just the tone of the marketing is what gets me the most. But speaking of Thunderbolts, I mean, not only have we been getting these new clips, the posters, but there was a report of a test screening, and it does suggest that this might be one of the best movies that the MCU has ever put out. Now, these reports are.
They've been saying this for the last fucking like 7 months. This is gonna be the best one since Yeah, I'll believe it when I fucking see it.
The sources, what I've been researching and finding out is the source behind this particular report is a little more credible than the usual reports we get from, some random test screening. And given that this is so close to the release time, basically somebody on Reddit posted about, hey, they attended a test screening near Burbank 6 weeks ago, which makes sense, like the timeline makes sense. And this is somebody who first admits, like, look, I am tired of the superhero genre, but watching this movie now, they potentially are predicting a 90% Rotten Tomatoes score for this, which is obviously really high. And they think that this could be one of the best things Marvel has put out. Liz, what are your thoughts on these reports that the test screening people absolutely love the movie?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just said that. I'm all in, gang. I can't wait. And it doesn't necessarily surprise me. I am a little biased when it comes to Marvel productions. So, hey, man, I don't care, dude. I don't care. I can't wait. Can
we just get to Predator already? Like, goddamn. We've been hearing enough about this goddamn movie. Like, let's get to Predator. Like, I just want to get to that.
I know you do, John, but we gotta talk about it all. We gotta talk. And yes, figure drawing is right, John. You literally have to see the movies.
I know.
You can't
just. Of course, it's going to be better than Cap 4. Come on.
I mean, that's not saying much.
I'm saying.
But it's just like, it feels like outside of like Deadpool and Wolverine and like Guardians 3, maybe it's like the test screeners like, this is going to be the best Marvel movie ever. And then everyone hates it. So it's like, are you sure about that? Sure about that, bud? Are you winning, son?
The other piece of news about this is that the movie has now got a China release date, and they also put out a poster for China. So yeah, I mean, this is all in the midst of China potentially banning all Hollywood movies, but at least until they're allowed to play in China, then hey, we will be getting it in the Middle Kingdom on April 30th.
Why is the fucking poster better than ours?
I'm honestly surprised because I thought they had a whole thing about like weapons, and I mean I know it's maybe not for China, but certain countries, like I was shocked to see like that they've got all these guns and knives in it, and I didn't think that's something that they would want to release. But
Yeah,
okay.
honestly, it looks better than
What do
our
I know?
AI generated poster. I'll give them that.
I was gonna say,
Like,
right, the theme is kind of similar, but they get it a few days before we do because it comes out May 2nd in the US, but April 30th out in China. So hey, if you guys are in China, then you get to see this movie a little bit sooner than the American audiences do. So yeah, with that in mind, let's
Liz
keep the
is
ball
about to
rolling
fly
here.
to fucking China right now.
No, I'll be all right. That's all right.
Yeah, it did. By the way, Caleb, yes, it does look a lot better than Cap 4. So, yeah, even though the trailers for Cap 4 were pretty good, and then the movie ended up not being as good, I'd imagine that Thunderbolts will be better by in comparison to the trailers. Ron saying this movie won't come out in China. China's dude, Ron, we talked about that. If you want to rewind back, we talked about the whole thing about China. They haven't announced anything yet. They are considering it though. So it's not official that China has banned Hollywood movies. So yes, it could change between now and the time the movie is set to come out. But given that it's only a few weeks away, it might not. It might not happen by then. So maybe we'll make it just in time. Maybe they will pull the movie while it's in release in China. So who knows? Just some geeky guy saying my friend Mark says the Sentry is just a wimpy Superman with multiple personalities.
Oh god, yeah, and also and also Mark hates every fucking blockbuster movie that's coming out right now, and any movie that isn't The Godfather. So like, Mark can shut the fuck up. I can say that because I am also a friend of Mark. I love the man, but he's also a grumpy asshole. He says he's a grumpy asshole, but I can also call him a grumpy asshole because that's what he is. He hates. I hope every fucking movie in July fails because fuck James Gunn and fuck Marvel and fuck Jurassic, and like typical. It's like, all right, cynical 50-year-old, get the fuck out of here.
Liz.
He makes me look like Liz. Let's just get that perfectly clear.
Cool. Tight.
I don't know.
I
don't know how I feel about that.
No, I'm just saying because like I'm seen as the hater, but you're seen as the lover of everything, most things, and so that's what I was trying to say. It was a compliment. It was a compliment.
Okay.
All right. Cool. All right.
Cool.
Well, here's
man.
Guys, for HBO Max or just Max, they put out a trailer for all the stuff they've got coming out this year, which includes a lot of HBO stuff. But obviously, like Hacks is a Max original, Peacemaker is a Max original, The Righteous Gemstones. So they've got a bunch of stuff in here that is not streaming on HBO. But then there's like the Celtics documentary, which will be on both, The Last of Us. So it looks fantastic. You obviously are seeing a lot of.
It's getting good reviews, John. I'm sorry to say. I know you're not looking forward to Last of Us season 2, but
that
it's getting
Conan
good reviews.
show looks amazing.
That looks
we will talk about
That looks great.
It looks, and then PV has a PV Herman has a documentary coming out.
I'm so excited for this Pee Wee doc, man.
Yeah.
Paul Rubens.
Yes, the last of golf clubs.
I met him. He was
wonderful.
wonderful.
Rehearsal and Just Like That, which is another Sex and the City season or spinoff. Mountainhead looks interesting. We talked about that, John.
That's the guy who did Succession's movie, right?
The director. Yeah, he's doing the 100-foot wave. Task looks like a new show. They've got shots in this that looks pretty interesting.
Mark Ruffalo.
Gilded Age is back. Mark Ruffalo is in there. I don't know what project he's a part of. Then they also have The Chair Company, and a number of other series, Duster, and they included a shot from the new Game of Thrones show, as well as
Welcome to Derry.
So, I mean,
very
guys,
exciting.
Are you excited for what we're gonna be getting? All the shit that Max has got coming our way this year. There's quite a few things in here, guys. What are your thoughts? I mean, Liz, are you a big fan of what they have over on Max, or are you more of a Disney
I do. I like the stuff that Max is putting out. Unfortunately, again, it's one of those things where it's like if it's not right up in like my main menu on my smart TV, like I forget about it half the time. Like I love Righteous Gemstones. I really need to catch up with it because it is if it's not
one of those shows.
It's
wonderful. Again, it's on the list. It's on the list.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
But if it's not like
finally
right there
watching
in my
For All
display,
Mankind. So give me that. All right.
So I love Max. I love the stuff that they're putting out. I'm really looking forward to the Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman documentary. RIP. I met the man. He's wonderful. So I I just can't get to it all, gang. I can't get to it all. If you guys could put some funds in the super chat so I can quit my job, so I can get to all this.
No, what
That's
you
the
know what
only
you
way it's
need?
happening. If you could crowdsource my
You know what
binge
we
watching,
need?
I'd
You know what all
appreciate it.
three of us need? We need to have like a Groundhog Day and like we just repeat the same day over and over again and then catch up on every single
I
show
would love that. I would
and
love
then
that.
like read every book, watch every
Like
movie.
I fantasize about being a vampire because it would be great to like never have to sleep, so I can just watch all the things and be all caught up.
Oh my
Time
god,
is
if I
just.
didn't have to fucking sleep would be
I'm
fucking amazing.
saying.
We
I'm
need the machines
saying.
from that Doctor Who episode Sleep No More where you go into the machine and you enter it and like you're in there for like 10 minutes, but then you get like 10 hours
Yeah.
of sleep
Or
and it
I
feels
need
like
the
10 hours of
time
sleep.
turner for like Harry Potter. I need that. There's just too much, gang. One human being can't get to it all. I'll tell you what. I keep ordering books for upcoming films. When am I gonna read the fucking books? Jesus, it's all too much. It's all
I
too
gave up
much.
on the book reading a long time ago because I could never get through stuff.
Right?
It's but Kingdom of the Seven. Sorry, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, is the next spin-off. I guess I don't know if it's another prequel. Somebody let me know of the Game of Thrones franchise. So that's another big one. I mean, it just looks like HBO and Max in general to have a huge year ahead. And we also will be talking in more detail about Peacemaker because James Gunn gave us the release date for that as well. But right now, we're here to talk about what John is going to be literally wetting his pants over, and that is Predator, Killer of Killers.
Oh,
It's
take
an
it, John.
animated new show on
Hell
Hulu.
fucking yeah, let's fucking go. I know Hosea was asking me about this before, but I'm so fucking excited. I would be yelling right now if it wasn't midnight and my entire house was asleep right now. I'd be fucking screaming. I would be screaming. This looks so fucking good. The animation, it's reminiscent of Arcane. I know a lot of people love that show and all that shit, but this is this is literally what I wanted from the fucking bad. Get the socks out. Yeah, it's gonna get sticky. Guys, bro. I'm fucking hard. I am hard as a fucking rock. This looks so. This is what I wanted from the movie. And then they gave us like fucking discount Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I'm sure it'll be good. I'm sure it'll be fine. But like now I'm way more excited for this than I am for that movie. This it like it looks beautiful. I don't know if this is a show or a movie. I don't care. I'm just fucking so stoked for this. This is what we need from the Predator franchise. Just going to different time periods, predators wrecking havoc, fucking going nuts. You got the Vikings, got samurai, got World War II, just in different give me fucking pirates next. Give me like medieval knights. Give me like
This is an anthology movie, by the way.
give me like BC. Give me like fight like ancient Egyptians and shit. Like fucking anything. I'm so fucking excited. Like this, I would like when my friend posted this. I'm like, oh yeah, the Predator thing, and he's like, no, it's a show. It's an animated thing. I'm like, oh, I remember them talking about this, and then I watch it. I'm like, yes, give me all of this. This is fucking amazing. This looks so fucking good. I like nothing else right now. Like the next movie. Okay, it is a movie. Okay, that's what I thought it was. But Dan was saying it was a show, and he got me all confused. So I thought it was a movie.
It is a movie. I looked it up. Sorry.
I was saying it was a show. That was on me. I apologize.
Okay, Liz, fuck you, Liz. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I just like this. This looks awesome. The animation looks really fucking cool. I love the design. Like the predators look different. Like one has like an eye patch. One is like really fucking. That's just Predator versus Predator. But you know, it just give me like the one of the dudes is just like really big. It's just like it gives us like again, yeah, I was saying Arcane. It looks like the animation is very Arcane style. And the difference is the Predator fandom actually showers and uses soap and touches grass. So, you know, that's also nice. But it's just and the fuck this shot right here where the dude gets pulled from the plane. I'm like, oh fuck, this looks fucking good. Like this is probably the next like Superman is my most excited, obviously. But in terms of like the next most recent project is this. It's easily this. Like, I can't think of anything else that's coming up soon. I don't think in May. Maybe there's something. Maybe there's like a smaller horror movie that but like nothing's coming to mind. I'm just, it's tunnel vision right now. I'm just thinking about this. I'm just looking at this. This looks great. I was super excited for Badlands because I thought it was going to be like this. Then when they released the synopsis, I was like, okay, that sounds good. I mentioned this before. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds okay. But then now it's like, it's all of my attention's going to this. Like, all my attention's going, like, the movies. Okay, it's so funny with the Predator franchise. The movies that should be in theaters are not going to theaters. And it's like but we're making Badlands part of the theater experience. But it's like, that's the weakest mid one. Like, this should be in theaters. Prey should have fucking been in theaters. But like, nah, we're making Discount Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes the one in theaters, which, again, I don't mean to shit on it that much. I don't mean to say I'm hating on it or anything, but it's just like something that's so interesting and creative and intriguing is this like is like a new idea with a unique animation style. This should be in theaters. Plus, it would showcase like animation is not just for kids. Like, it would be that it's a movie. Like, this should have been released in theaters. I understand like them not wanting to because you already have Predator Badlands being in theaters, and that's like the main thing, and that's like the main draw. But it's just like, this looks great. It's funny that sci-fi horror franchises are doing really good in like animated TV. That's another thing I need to watch. Terminator Zero. I never got a chance to, but even though that's a show, but like I was gonna watch that, I never got a chance, but I heard it was really good. This looks amazing. Let's go. I gotta show my hands. Like, I swear I'm not doing anything below the desk. I swear. I'm excited. Snorlax, you can't see him, but he's excited. The Peanuts, they're excited. Fucking, we're all excited. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go. I'm hard. Let's go.
And that was the Predator portion of our show today. Dude, Jose's throwing out all kinds of possibilities. I want to see Predator versus Polynesian warriors, Maori from back in the day. Animation is for kids. Okay, well, I'm not gonna read that one. But anyway, Prey was originally meant to be a theatrical movie figure drawing, yes. And I think for this one, the reason why they're putting it out on streaming is, like you said, John, it's probably because it's an animated movie, so they don't know how much it's going to potentially make if they were to put it out in theaters. They probably don't see it being a theatrically viable film. So, but hey, if there's anything we learned from Prey, is that if you execute well and you tell a good story with a good amount of action, and you get the right actors and you have a nice heart, like where you can relate to these characters and you can care for them, and the story isn't over the top complicated.
So excited! I'm gonna get my Post Malone Oreos.
You could definitely put it out on the movie theater. Well, hey, Predator Killer of Killers. It's gonna be on Hulu, and this was our first look. It comes out June 6th, so it will be here before you know it. I'm excited for it. I know, Liz, you might try to check it out amongst the millions of other things you have got on your list.
I mean, if it was released in theaters, I would definitely see it, but to my own devices at home, I'll probably miss it, unfortunately. It might be a while till I get to it, but I'm excited that John's excited.
And the chat is as excited for John as John is excited for this. This looks...
See, I'm not just a hater. Fuck you guys.
All right, well, you know, that was an amazing way to bring.
You're gonna fucking catch these hands figure drawing if you don't shut the fuck
up. I don't think anybody wants to catch those hands after that last 5 minutes of the show. But we're now moving on to the quick hits.
My hands are clean.
All right, cool. We're going on to the quick hits part. So, John, why don't you hit that?
I'll hit the bossa nova music.
And then we'll get into
Oh wait, wrong one.
All right, so the quick hits. There's a new poster out. I don't know if it's really a poster or just logo art, whatever. But like, Welcome to Derry from the It franchise the thing that kept Andy Muschietti busy the last few years. It's coming soon to HBO, and now we have a little inside look at it. I think we got a bit of a look at the show in that Max trailer as well. Liz, John, your thoughts on this? Are you going to be watching this show when it comes out?
No.
Yeah, looks good. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like Chapter 2. I liked it. And I like how they're doing all the in between. My friend read the book and he knows the word for it. But like the stuff with the black spot and like the history of Derry is gonna pretty much everything that was not in those 2 movies that related to the history of Derry is going in this show, and I really appreciate that. That's because I mean it is such an illustrious book, so put the rest of it in a show. I still think that the entirety of the book should be a show like that, well, except for the one part we don't talk about, but like outside of that, it should, like, the entire thing should, like, you could make like a 3 to 4 season show of just this one book. Like, it's insane. Yeah. So I'm excited for this. I think Bill Skarsgård is coming back for a couple scenes here and there, but
I mean, and they've also announced that they want to do a few seasons of this. Like, I think Andy Muschietti already has a plan in mind. So.
I think he had 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Good, let him do that, and he can shut up about everything else. I saw 1 and 2, so like that's enough for me, gang. You guys know I'm not into scary stuff, so I've done my part with it. Good luck to him. Make that money. I hope John's happy with the series, and we're gonna leave it there for me.
All right. Well, moving on to the next thing. White Lotus just aired its finale yesterday, and we just got the ratings for it. 6.2 million viewers watched the season 3 finale, smashing the previous series record by over 30%. Are you guys surprised by this? This was one of those breakout shows. Like, it was the water cooler show once Severance came to a close. I mean, are you a fan of the show, Liz? John, do you?
I tried watching the first season. The pacing's not for me. I don't know if I'm missing something. Maybe it's gonna blow my mind when I finally do finish the series. But I know that there are diehard fans out there that absolutely love every single season, every single episode.
My parents love the show.
Yeah, so I've heard nothing but good things. Everybody seems to be pretty pleased with the finale. So, good for them. Maybe I'll get back to it. It's just for some reason it didn't hit for me the way it did for other people. So,
well, to be fair, here's the thing. Sorry, Dan, to interrupt, but maybe you just need to skip the first season and watch like season 2 or season 3 because it's like possible. An anthology show, like American Horror Story, where it's a different story each season. So maybe you can like skip a season and then.
Although there are some characters that are sort of connective tissue, like Jennifer Coolidge's
never
character.
mind. Fuck me then. Okay.
No,
I was just trying. I just want because I know I want people to enjoy things.
Yeah.
So
no, it is an anthology in the sense that you could watch season 3 without having necessarily seen seasons 1 and 2 and be okay. You won't. I mean, it's like it is an anthology, but it's also not entirely an anthology like AHS used to be. So there's certain elements that carry over. But nonetheless, I mean, I'm behind on the show, but I can't wait to catch up. Fiona was watching it on her residency in France with the other artists who are all caught up. She hadn't watched any of the previous seasons, but she enjoyed the parts that she did see. So I'm going to definitely give this a shot. There's 3 seasons, so I'm like, I can invest in this show and kind of binge it. And it's not like it has 20 episodes a season, so I'm sure I'll get through it pretty quickly. But hey, breaking records. Speaking of records, Armie Hammer's thriller The Dark Knight is now getting a new title that's going to be on record. Not the OG title, The Dark Knight, because they had a chat with Warner Brothers, and it seems like Warner Brothers either, whether it was, I don't know, forcefully or just nicely told Armie Hammer and co. that, hey, you cannot call your movie The Dark Knight, you a bowl. Are you guys surprised by this at all?
No, nobody's shocked. Like, really? Uwe, I know that dude's an egotistical, narcissistic asshole, but like, come on, do you really think he would have gotten away with this?
Yeah, and the PR behind this guy is so atrocious that I feel like he was doing this just to make headlines. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just to 100%. He was never 100%. Serious about doing. He was just trying to get his name out there and his project out there. No, it's a total attention grab for sure. Like, get out of here. Like, this guy, I don't know, man. He needs to just retire, or he needs to get a different profession or something, because babe, you're done. Like, you're not it anymore. Sorry. It's so bizarre. So
Ron
bizarre.
is like citizen vigilante LMAO. Yeah. Apparently Uwe Boll had a very friendly conversation with Warner Brothers and decided to change
More
the title
like,
to citizen vigilante.
Motherfucker, you better fucking stop.
Or we're gonna sue your movie to hell before it even comes out. That's probably what that very friendly.
And then he's
conversation
gonna,
was.
and then Uwe Boll's gonna sick Army Hammer on them, and he's gonna start eating people.
Supposedly, allegedly, that's not.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
We got the
allegedly.
receipts. All right.
Okay, all right. Well, speaking of, Ryan Coogler has
Going from
movie
a
coming
shitty
out.
filmmaker to an actually good one.
But
Here
you
we
know,
go.
there's a similarity because in the vampire horror pick Sinners, there are vampires who do eat people. There's the transition right there. See, I was going.
Good job,
somewhere with
Dan.
that. So Ryan Coogler was recently talking about why he chose to do Sinners and then wait on Black Panther 3. This whole interview is fantastic, so I highly recommend you guys go check it out. But talking about the movie Sinners, he said, I want to put something bold out there because I believe in that. I'm glad Warner Brothers were supportive of that vision, and I'm glad that they saw the value in me as a filmmaker and in the story. They made a deal that was very competitive. So it looks like Warner Brothers kind of made a good deal in terms of offering him what he wanted for the budget, what he wanted to get paid, and it looks like they snagged that away from other studios, which, depending on how successful the movie is, might be looked back as a really good deal or a really bad one, because could it be Mickey 17 or could it be Minecraft? I mean, John, what are your thoughts on these comments from Ryan Coogler? Let's
hope it has the quality of Mickey 17, but the budget or the gross of Minecraft. Okay, let's just, I'm excited for this movie. I think Ryan Coogler is a great director, even though I didn't love Black Panther as much as everyone does. I think Creed is a great movie. Fruitvale Station has been on my fucking radar for so long, but I just haven't bitten the bullet to see it, but I've heard excellent things about it.
Yep.
Coogler and Jordan, man, when it's those two of them, it's just like they make magic. Like it's and we need that, all of us, and that shit. But I'm the horror guy. I love vampires, whether it's like old school like Count Dracula or like new school like something like Martin. Martin is probably my favorite vampire movie. But this just looks great, like the Western vibes. Again, it looks like color is being utilized here, despite like many night scenes. We're getting like a lot of some Carpenter vampires vibes, like the movie Vampires with James Woods, like kind of Forsaken a little bit. And I'm loving all this stuff that he's doing here. So yeah, because there's only one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade. But yeah, I hope this, I hope a good indie movie from a studio, ironically, I just hope that does well. And because everybody in the production deserves it, whether it's Coogler, whether it's Michael B. Jordan covered in baby oil, whether it's Vampire, Haley Steinfeld, whatever it is, I'm stoked. I hope you can suppress your, scaredness of horror, Liz, to sit down and I
ain't suppressing shit. I am very excited for this film.
No. I mean, because I know
I know what you mean, but I'm telling you right now,
I don't easily. So
I don't care if it scares the bejesus out of me or not. You're hard. I'm gonna be horny as fuck in this film, and I can't wait for it. It's gonna be great.
I love the track that we were on here. I will say though, to answer One Bridge 11's question, will it make more money than Snow White? Well, I think so.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it will.
It's gonna have way better reviews, I imagine, and that's probably gonna help because the word of mouth behind the Snow White movie is what really killed it. It looks like this is gonna be very different and on the opposite end of that spectrum. So, moving on to the next thing, Venom star Tom Hardy says that he is now open to returning as Eddie Brock with or without Spider-Man. Now, of course, he was saying that he was done with the character when Venom 3 was being made. But
yeah, that's what Hugh Jackman said after Logan.
I mean, those movies made like almost $2 billion combined. I mean, that's way more successful than anything else Sony has done with their Spider-Man characters outside of obviously Spider-Man in the MCU. But when he was asked about it, he was like, well, I loved working in those movies, playing Venom. So yeah, of course I would love to come back. And then he said, look, we got pretty close to doing it in that I think it was that second no it was a No Way Home, right? Wasn't that the one where Tom Hardy's Venom is hanging around on the beach and then ends up leaving a little bit of venom behind? So
Venom.
He clearly seems like he's leaving the door open. Liz, would you like to see him back as Venom eventually?
I mean, sure. It's again, they're not my. I mean, quite frankly, I think they're all trash. But they're. I like Tom Hardy. Go ahead, get another check. I don't get good for him. Go. If I get to see more Tom Hardy, I'm happy about it. I don't care.
I mean, for me, the thing is, he's said yes and no and kind of like flip flopped. So
I think it depends
really
on where he is with his projects. Like he just did Mobland, so he wasn't ready to do it then, but now Mobland is wrapped and it's been released and he can, hang out for a little bit. So maybe he's like, hey, if I've got the time and they're gonna throw enough money at him, that's for damn sure. So go ahead. Go ahead, Tom.
I mean, it's the Venom 1 and 3 are really good. Like, not like really good, but like really entertaining.
It's true, Caleb. It really
is. Kraven the Hunter was entertaining. Madam Web and Morbin Time were so bad it's good. And then Let There Be Carnage was just kind of bad, but like those movies are just fun garbage.
I thought the first Venom movie was the best Venom movie. So,
that one was easily the best one. But yeah, I mean, sure, like he can do like movies with Christopher Nolan, but then at the same time just do fucking trash like this, and I love that about Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Just some geeky guys saying Kraven the Hunter for me was a guilty pleasure. Well, you know what? Power to you. And Caleb saying more. All right, whatever. I don't even know if there's a rhythm to that. But Captain America 4, Captain America Brave New World, is now officially getting released on digital April 15th, and then it comes out on Blu-ray on May the 13th. Liz, is this a movie that you would actually go collect for your digital collection or go get the Blu-ray for?
Probably not. I mean, again, I didn't hate it. It was better than I thought. But it's not one that like I have any interest in watching over and over again. So probably not.
I mean, John, do I even have to ask?
Yeah, but you didn't watch it the first time. Come on.
I will say, I think ultimately, having kind of marinated on this movie for a while now, I think what was the ultimate fatal mistake here is this movie felt like a hodgepodge of ideas. Whether it was the Wakandan suit with like the all the what's the thing? What's Wakanda's big thing? Vibranium. It's late in the night, guys. Yeah. Vibranium, like all it absorbs all the momentum, and then the whole purple release thing, which we saw in the first Black Panther movie, or the idea that this movie references heavily the Incredible Hulk, which most people forget even exists in the MCU continuity. They should have just made this a movie about Anthony Mackie's Captain America, as opposed to being like 15 different ideas from other MCU properties kind of like meshed together, and having somehow Anthony Mackie's Captain America pull all the pieces into like one cohesive narrative. Even with Harrison Ford, it just felt like it was a hodgepodge. And then the fact that they reshot a bunch of it probably didn't help, because you could clearly tell there were some shots where they were on a green screen and didn't have enough time to get the compositing right. So hey, maybe they'll fix some of that stuff. Nowadays a lot of movies change things up by the time they come out, and on Blu-ray, on streaming. Like what was that? Was that the last Alien movie where they fixed some of the CGI when it got released on Disney Plus? So there you go. But anyway, guys, moving on to the next thing. Hershey chocolate. It looks like they're making a movie about Hershey chocolates, guys. Which is interesting. I mean, it's almost Easter time, so where's my Cadbury Easter eggs? But hey, Finn Wittrock on the left there, and then Alexandra Daddario on the right. They're both set to star in the new Hershey chocolate movie, which is going to have the director of Mean Girls behind the camera. Are you guys interested or excited about this?
I'm interested in seeing, are they trying to make this like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory type thing? Is Hershey, do they need a boost in sales? Or are they actually going to be true to the story of the creation of the Hershey company? Because I know a lot about it. I've watched a lot of documentaries behind all of these, these well-known big American brands. So I know the story of Hershey and the background, and how it all started, and how how like pretty much the 8-hour workday was started through that, things like that. So I'm interested to see what their angle is on this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Hershey Park twice. My dad used to have them as a client, so I know a lot about them as well. And I fucking have, God knows, have eaten a fucking enough of it. And I don't care what anybody says. Hershey is better than Cadbury, and Cadbury can suck my nuts. But this looks like a really interesting idea. Whatever. I don't know if it's going to be like a more of like as you were saying, like I don't know if it's going to be more of like a drama or like like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but Charlie and the Hershey Factory. But like whatever it is, I don't know. It interests me. I like Whitrock and Daddario. The director has me a little worried, but
Mean Girls and
I'm
Freaky
curious.
Friday. I will say personally, for me, the taste of Hershey versus Cadbury are like Coke and Pepsi, so it depends on the time of day which I prefer, but they both have their benefits to it. But Liz, to answer your question, it looks like this movie is meant to kind of be more of like, kind of like what was the not a Pop-Tart movie, but there was another one that came out on streaming I think a year or two ago.
No, the Pop-Tart movie, Unfrosted, where it was like a dramatized.
No, but not Pop. No, I know, but like not that one. I'm talking about the one.
Like the Beanie Baby movie?
No, it wasn't Apple TV Plus. It had the guy from the Kingsman movies in it.
Tetris. That was great. I love Tetris. That was great. That was awesome.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be more like Tetris, and it's targeting a 2026 release date. They don't yet have a distributor, so maybe one of the big studios will jump on, or not. Maybe we'll go to streaming, but it looks interesting. They're gonna be filming in Pennsylvania, obviously, where Hershey is based out of. Hershey, Pennsylvania, that is. So, yeah. But hey, moving on to the next thing. Andor season 2 comes out soon, guys. As soon as Daredevil finishes its run, which Liz will be reviewing Daredevil episode 8 coming up. We're gonna get 4 weeks of Andor. I am so excited for this because I love this show. I think this is the best thing Star Wars has done ever. And so to get the season 2, and they're not gonna be just dropping one episode a week. They're giving us 3 episode chunks. So April 22nd you get 1, 2, 3. Then you get 4, 5, 6 on April 29th. Then May 6th you get 7 through 9, and then May 13th you get 10 through 12. So in 4 weeks you're gonna get 12 freaking episodes, and each set of 3 episodes is taking place within 1 year, and then they do a time jump. So I'm excited about all of this. Liz, are you somebody who might eventually pick this up? Because I know you're not really somebody who's
again, if
the
somebody
show.
wants to fund me taking a year, 6 months off from my full-time job and this show, then yeah, I can get to all of these things. But I've not seen the first season. I'm not caught up with Mandalorian. I have not seen Spare Parts. I'm
Also,
so
what's
very
Spare
behind.
Parts? I don't know what you're talking about there. I don't think that's a show.
Isn't that what it's called? The one with freaking
No, Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. Thank you, Skeleton. See, that's how far behind I am, gang.
I'm surprised
That's how far behind I
okay.
am.
I understand your
So,
confusion, but yes.
I did see Rogue One, so apparently this has something to do with that. Cool, great, but
these are
no,
all
I'm not getting
prequels
to
to
it
Rogue
anytime
One.
soon. Listen,
Yeah,
I
would
got
say
too many other things.
You don't have to watch any of the Star Wars anything. If you have seen Rogue One, that's all the context you need, because season 1 and season 2 are both prequels to the events of Rogue One. And so obviously, if you know, Rogue One itself is a prequel to the original trilogy. So if you kind of know what happens in the original Star Wars trilogy and you've seen Rogue One, that's all the ammo you need to go and enjoy Andor. And it's one of the best things I think Disney Plus Star Wars has ever done. Quite frankly, to me, Andor is the best thing Star Wars has ever done. So I'm excited for this. April 22nd premieres with 3 episodes. Can't wait. But moving on to the next thing, Only Murders in the Building has added Logan Lerman to the season 5 cast. Excited?
Yes. Now, this is a show that I do watch, that I do keep up with. I love Only Murders. I love it when they have all. I mean, they've had Paul Rudd, they've had Meryl Streep, they have all these randos just show up for a season or two, and it's been delightful every time. So I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Yeah. This looks interesting to me as well. Moving on to the next thing regarding Only Murders in the Building season 5. They put out a whole cast photo. And you're not only seeing the usual suspects, Martin Short, Steve Martin, and of course, Selena Gomez, but you're also seeing Renee Zellweger, which we talked about. She joined the show a few months ago. Logan Lerman, speaking of which, he's right there as well. Christopher Waltz on the right, looking very Christopher Waltz-like. Christoph Waltz.
It's
I'm
not
so sorry.
Christopher.
It's Christoph Waltz. But guys,
don't forget the cream.
Sorry, is this one of the Liz, how excited are you for the next season of this show?
I love Christoph Waltz. I think Renee Zellweger is delightful. So again, cannot wait. Looking forward to seeing which one of them is going to be the killer, and how they're all used. So it's I'm pumped for it for sure. And I'm assuming Meryl Streep is going to come back because she does marry Martin Short's character in this past season. So I can't wait. It's going to be wonderful.
Cute. That whole thing was so cute to watch. That whole relationship.
I mean, we were talking about Wes Anderson before. This show is whimsical as well. So I love everything about it.
It's about as close to a Wes Anderson TV show as you can get without Wes Anderson actually directing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But anyway, moving on to the next thing. A Quiet Place Day One helmer, Michael Sarnowski, is set to direct Death Stranding, which is a video game adaptation for A24 and Kojima Productions. John, is this one that you're familiar with or interested in?
I know Death Stranding, but so here's the thing. I like Michael Sarnowski because I loved Pig and I loved Quiet Place Day One. However, from what I know about Death Stranding, which is essentially just walking around the game, I'm curious how they're going to make that interesting for a movie. And with that, I might go see it just because Michael Sarnowski's directing it. So, yeah.
Interesting. All right. Liz, I don't know if you have any interest in this project, but...
not really.
Moving on to the next thing. Paradise, guys. I don't know if either of you guys have caught up or have seen Paradise yet. It was an amazing show on Hulu. Slow start, a bit of a slow burn, but then it picks up pace. I loved the show by the time it finished off, and I was like ready for the next season already. But they've already got into production on this. They had a panel recently at one of the conventions regarding Paradise, and all the actors were there talking about like the stakes are going to be higher in different locations, and they're going back out into the world because in the first season they're kind of like stuck in the mountain surviving society in this post-apocalyptic Earth where supposedly a nuclear war destroyed everything else after a natural disaster.
Yep.
But Paradise,
when my parents watched this show,
it's now got Thomas Doherty added to the cast for season 2, and if you look at the character that he's playing, the speculation is that he's going to be playing the leader of a new biker gang. So there's that. They're also adding Shailene Woodley to the new season.
Oh.
Sterling K. Brown is like the lead of the show, so he was in the first season. James
and
Marsden's
our buddy
was
James,
there.
yep.
So, yeah, I mean, are you guys interested in this show at all? I don't know if you're familiar with.
I've heard nothing but good things, but I just it's one of those that I feel like I'm really never going to be in the mood for. Like it feels like kind of a heavier show. So again, probably never getting to it.
Elite Easy and Just Some Geeky Guy both saying, "Oh, that's Nightwing." So, did he play Nightwing in the Titans show? Is that what that was? Am I?
Thomas Doherty? No. Curran Walters played. Curran Walters played Jason Todd. That's not him.
I see. Okay, all right. Well, there you go. Maybe they're suggesting that this is a casting, possibly. Okay. Speaking of casting, The Last of Us, season 2. Perfect casting, people have said ever since the first season came out. You got Pedro Pascal in the lead role. Of course, it's got a new season coming out very soon. It's one of the most anticipated shows of the year, and now the Rotten Tomatoes score looks like it's gonna be amazing. Post-apocalyptic TV at its peak is what's the word around the show. Liz, are you excited for The Last of Us Part 2 coming out soon?
I never saw The Last of Us Part 1, so again, when I can get caught up with these shows that are supposed and I also, again, these gang, when I'm home, when I'm in my safe space, the majority of the things I am watching are comedies. I can't do dramas. I can't do heavy. I can't do emotion. I save that for the movie theater. So I'm sure all of these films are wonderful, But if they're not making me laugh, I ain't got time for them at home. I'm sorry. I stick with my Abbott Elementary and Animal Control and and stupid shit like that, because everything outside of my front door is heavy enough that I can't devote my time to any more of it personally. But I'm glad everybody's liking it so far, and the reviews for this one are really good as well. So good on them, and you know, best of luck to them moving forward.
Yeah, this one's sitting certified fresh with like the score in the 90s already, and everybody's saying, yeah, this is gonna be amazing. It builds on what came before. It's one of the best things you're gonna see when it comes down to a video game adaptation to live action. I can't wait for it. I'm still a little bit behind on the episodes, but I'm gonna see if I can catch up by the time the new season comes out. But Neuromancer, John, we've been talking about this for the longest time. They just put out, not they put out, but like I guess, you know, people who were spying on the production, they put out some set photos, and this is the show that's going to be an adaptation of the famous Neuromancer books. It's coming to Apple TV Plus soon. The new photos do highlight Brianna Middleton, who's playing Molly Millions in the show. It looks very interesting. You look at the photos, it definitely feels true.
That does not look great.
Some of the stuff in the book, even if it's not the greatest, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Matrix, if anything.
Well, Neuromancer predated the fucking Matrix, so if anything, the Matrix ripped this off. So
right, but I'm just saying, like, it's got that same vibe to it. I mean, Liz,
but yeah, remember, set photos are never as good as, like, you gotta add like filters and like making like tweaking stuff with CGI. So like set photos can only show so much. So, you know, I'm still like, because it's just like Neuromancer is just one of those, like, it's like the gospel of like fucking cyberpunk fiction. So it's I would say there's probably a lot riding on this in terms of that side of the fandom. So hopefully they do it right. Usually Apple TV has a good track record for this sort of thing. So hopefully it's the fandom is pleased with it for the most part. But I don't know who's doing the show. Hopefully it's someone who's good, but yeah, I'm intrigued with this. The set photos aren't great, but I'm still intrigued with the show, and I'll probably watch it because hopefully it's like, you know, kind of like, you know, it doesn't rip off too much, but it's like, it's hard to do when it's this book that's beloved and it inspired so fucking much of like the aesthetic of like cyberpunk that like it's hard to be like, oh, this looks like Blade Runner, oh, this looks like the Matrix, oh, this looks like this and that and this and that. It's hard to like kind of do that where it's like, oh, this is ripping all this stuff off, but it's like none of this shit would have happened if it wasn't for this book. Like, I think Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep did come out before Neuromancer, but that was, I mean, Blade Runner was barely an adaptation of that anyway. So, but like in terms of the aesthetic and the tone, this is what started it all. So I just hope that like people can it either does its own thing or people are aware enough that like maybe like, oh, this came first. I have too much optimism in people, but that's just how I think. I just like this is one of the things where it's like I've never read this book. I want to, and I respect what it did for this side of like sci-fi fiction. So, you know, I just really want the show to be good so the fans can be happy with it.
Yeah, and you know what? Apple TV Plus has a history of doing something like this. They brought the Foundation books to life, and of course, Star Wars and so many other, you know, sci-fi franchises over the years have picked and chosen a lot of elements of that book series, and it was one of those things like Dune. It was really hard to adapt visually, and Apple TV Plus has done a brilliant job at Foundation. So I think with Neuromancer, I can imagine like the track record is there at least, and you've got a cast which features, you know, people like Peter Sarsgaard, and you've got Mark Strong in there as well. You got Max Irons, like, you know, you've got Brianna Middleton. So it's looking good so far, but like we'll just, like you said, we'll have to see till the show comes out. Speaking of shows, John, Love, Death and Robots season 4 sets a May return date, and they released a first look. I believe you've talked about this show on here in the past. Love, Death and Robots was pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys talked about this with me on the show before though, but the new season comes out May 15th on Netflix. It's gonna have 10 short animated stories, and they're all gonna be in different animation styles, which is pretty much what the show is and has been in the previous 3 seasons. Is this one that you guys are interested in?
No.
Never watched the show. Heard great things about it. Maybe I'll give it a watch. But again, it's just one of those things of like a trillion shows on my list that I should watch but don't.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for it. The first and second season were pretty good. I don't think I'm really caught up again, but like I have some time between now and May 15. Maybe I'll be able to catch up between now and then. So I can't wait for that one. Now, the other big news that happened today, casting wise, it's not confirmed, but for Dune 3, Legendary and Denis Villeneuve, they are looking to cast Robert Pattinson in a potential villainous role for the upcoming movie. Are you guys excited about this? And then, having read the book, John, what are your thoughts on?
I've never read the book. I've never claimed I read the book. Just saying
but
that.
Who do you think he's gonna be playing the villainous character?
Could be anybody. I don't know. I don't know a thing about Dune and all. I know like vague things about lore stuff, but that's it. Like, don't ask me about Dune stuff. I don't know shit about Dune, but I will say about this. Bro is really trying to get the Infinity Gauntlet of franchises. Bro has Twilight, Harry Potter, Batman, and now Dune on his radar. So fucking good for him,
and
man.
Good for him. Yeah, make that money, baby. Good for him.
Yeah. I'm happy for him. He's doing all the things, just fucking killing it, showcasing like, hey, I'm not fucking Edward Cullen anymore, you fucking idiots. And he's just tremendous talent. Like, love this, and now hopefully we can, get Batman Part 2 before he's 90. Not till he's 90, but before he's 90. That would be nice.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm like, look, he's busy working with Denis Villeneuve, potentially Christopher Nolan. He did an A24 movie recently. God, like Matt Reeves, if you can only get your shit together, maybe you can get Robert Pattinson to play Batman again for once. But just some geeky guy with a fantastic super chat. Thank you so much for that. As always, he said, I finally played The Last of Us 2 on PC for the first time. While I loved the gameplay and graphics, the story was the story was garbage and made no sense. 5 out of 10. Yeah, it's one of those things where the second Last of Us game, it's you either love it or you hate it. Like, there's no middle ground. So we're not surprised by that, but I mean, hey, now you get to see the TV show. What they did do is they split the story of the second game amongst multiple seasons, so I don't think we're gonna get to see Joel get to that point in his arc, let's say, in the next season. Figure Drawing saying, John, I think you dig Dune if you read it. It's one of the best, most important books of all time. So
I don't know about that, bro.
Genre.
Bro, I can bear, like, the only book I have completed, like, in the past 5 years is a book made for 6th graders. I don't know if I can really get into the prose and, like, heavy shit of Dune. Like, I don't think my brain can handle it anymore. I can, like, barely handle, like, Stephen King. So, like, I would love to, but I think the internet just made me too dumb.
Well, John, while you
problem we all have, John.
While you find your intelligence again, we're gonna have to talk about the Angry Birds 3, which has landed at Paramount and is set a 2027 winter 2027 release. Jason Sudeikis, Rachel Bloom, Josh Gad, and Danny McBride are all returning to lead the voice cast alongside high-profile newcomers, including Emma Myers, Keke Palmer, and Tim Robinson. Names on names on names. I forgot there was a second Angry Birds movie somewhere.
I know that that's exactly what I said when I read this headline. I was like, oh fuck, there was a second Angry Birds movie. 100%. Oh god.
I mean, okay.
What are we doing?
Liz, is this one you're gonna check out?
I'll see it. I saw the first two. I didn't hate the first one. The second one was a major dud for me. But I feel like these are like the Smurfs movies. Like I see this and I'm like, another one? Like, what are we doing? But okay, I mean, I forgot this game was even a game. Like, nobody are people still playing the game? They must be, or maybe this is their way of trying to get people to play the games again. It's fucking weird, dude. I don't know. I also thought that when I watched when I was watching the Minecraft movie, I was like, oh, so it's like Angry Birds where, like, for some reason the pigs are always the bad guys. It's just
right.
I actually did have that thought in the theater, so maybe this is apropos. I don't know.
I think the second one was so forgettable. I forgot that I ever saw it because I pretty sure I've seen both. The first one was okay. The second one just felt like every trope in a sequel, they kind of packed it in. But maybe the third one will be a renaissance. I mean, John, is this one that you're interested in?
Fuck no, I'm not watching that shit.
Okay. Well, just some geeky guy with another super chat asking us, do you believe that China pulling Hollywood films from their region will negatively impact future Marvel and DC comic book movies such as Superman, Fantastic Four, Avengers, etc.?
No.
Well, so just some geeky guy, we talked about it toward the beginning of the show with that China story that these movies don't make nearly as much money in China as they used to. Maybe for like the Avengers movies, because they still have they will draw a big audience. But even then, I don't think any of those movies need the Chinese audience to make $1 billion.
Yeah, it's not as huge anymore. It's not. As I said before, it's not great, but it's not bad. I don't. There's gonna be a hit, but it's not gonna be as big of a and I mean like hit as in like negative, like a hit to the movie, like a negative hit. I don't think it's gonna be like, you know, like Transformers days where it's like, oh, half of it got its money from China, or like Aquaman or stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be as bad as people think it is. Like, it's not gonna be great, but it's not gonna be like, oh shit.
Figure drawing, by the way, complimenting Lizz's hoodie game. It's on point. There you go.
Thank you.
Fraggle Rock. Yeah. I like I said, like you said, John, it's not gonna be as big of an impact. But thank you for just some geeky guy for the super chat. We will obviously follow the story if and when that ban happens. We'll see, like, you know, how it affects things. But Hollywood doesn't make as much money in China as they used to. Like John was saying before in the show, it all kind of changed around the time of the pandemic. So it's not been as much of an impact since. Speaking of impact, Hugh Jackman made quite the impression last year, coming back for Deadpool and Wolverine. And then I think, from what I can tell, this is either a loop or this is AI generated. But then halfway through this 9-hour stream, which I guess could be ASMR, like Marvel Ambiance, you get that iconic Wolverine pose. Liz, is this something that you're gonna put on in the background while you work away or sleep or rest or relax?
No, I don't care. I mean, like, good for them. That's nice. But again, doing this till he's 90. So, okay.
I mean, John, I know you were hard earlier for Predator, but Deadpool might have been the same for this. Well, there you go.
No.
Well, that kind of brings us to the end of the quick hits portion and the news portion of the show, John. So if you don't mind hitting that music, we'll move on to the next thing, which, well, we're gonna get into the movie review part of the show next. But that's the end of the news section of the show, guys. Let us know what you thought about all the million different news stories we talked about. I can't even recount the many different things, from Minecraft to China potentially banning Hollywood movies. We talked about Predator, Killer of Killers. John was hard. Thunderbolts. Liz was hard. Mission Impossible, The Dead Reckoning. I was hard. I mean, you know, there's something for everybody in this, you know, news segment from today. So let us know what you thought about it all. Hit the like button if you haven't already. We do appreciate that. But right now we're gonna move on to the movie review segment. Movie of the week, that is. Hell of a Summer. Hell of a Summer is one of those movies that, I mean, Liz and I talked about this the other day, and I was like, I have no idea what this is. Finn Wolfhard directed it. Is it great? Is it good? Is it worth a watch? Liz, you went and saw it. Would you?
I sure did.
To enlighten us on what you thought about this movie?
You know, as I was telling these guys, this is my kind of scary movie. I prefer campy. I prefer funny. I prefer, you know, like, essentially bad scary movies. That's my wheelhouse. Those are the ones I'll go see. Yes, it was bloody. Yes, it was gory and violent at times. The pacing for me, though, I will say it wasn't laugh out loud funny that like I thought it would be based on the trailer. But for Wolf to have, or I keep calling him Wolf, for Finn and his friend Billy to have written and directed this, and this is like their first, you know, major project, I was pretty impressed by it. The writing wasn't terrible. The direction wasn't terrible, but again, it was a little slower than I would have liked it to be. It wasn't as action-packed as I would have liked, like rather than them like running through the forest or running throughout the camp the entire time. Like they kind of just hunkered down and were basically just like waiting for the killer to leave or something at certain times. But it wasn't the worst thing I've seen. I would probably watch it again if it came on the television or something in the background. It was, you know, it was cute enough, but it was your typical summer camp slasher in my opinion. But I liked the cast. I loved seeing DeFaro in there. I love seeing John, what's his name? What's the syphilis brother's name?
Fred Hetchinger.
Thank you, Fred Hetchinger in there. Again, seeing Finn, his writing partner Billy is in it as well, Billy Brick, and he did a good job. I liked his character a lot. He was kind of a doofus, but he was a good comic relief for that. So yeah, I mean, if you like these kinds of campy, scary movies, I would recommend it. I would even recommend go seeing it in a theater. It looked good on the big screen. It had, you know, I liked the cinematography. I liked the tone of it. It felt like, you know, like an early 90s summer camp kind of thing. They weren't necessarily going for that. They did have all, you know, smartphones in the film and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was cute. That's it. I don't know where Dan went, and John hasn't seen it, so I don't know what else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna probably, although he spelled wacky wrong, by the way, it doesn't have an H in there. But I mean, I'm gonna go see it. Like, I have a lot of movies to see this week. I really want to see Drop and The Amateur, spoiler for preview, but I want to see. I'm still curious about this, and I want to see Freaky Tales. So I plan on eventually seeing this. Maybe I'll give like a short review. My two other buddies who saw this said it was one of the worst movies they've seen all year. Said it was absolutely terrible in every facet. They couldn't say anything good about it, so I'm really curious how I'll stand. But yeah, still curious about Finn Wolfhard and his directorial debut. So we'll see.
Nice. Well, I mean, the critics score and the audience score is not very good, and Ron saying I'm gonna go feeling tired night, y'all. Oh, well, hey Ron, thank you for stopping by. And definitely, you know, as always, swing by tomorrow. We'll be back at it again. And Caleb saying Hell of a Summer looks like it's so bad. Yeah. Well, Liz, you liked it and you want to support.
It was fine enough. Again, it wasn't anything to write home about, but I didn't hate it either. So.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you haven't seen it already, then go out there and check. I mean, Liz, before we actually finish up, would you recommend people go see it in a movie theater? Is this one you can?
It's enjoyable enough for like a date night or like just something to do on an afternoon. You know, you go out with your buddies, whatever, just looking for something to watch if you're not interested in anything else. It wasn't the worst. And like I said, I would see it again. Probably I won't go back to the theater for it, but I'd watch it again.
That sounds good. I mean, hey guys, let us know what you thought about the movie. Did you go to see it? If you haven't already, are you more excited to go see it? Hell of a Summer in movie theaters right now. Go check it out. Hit that like button while you're at it. We do appreciate that. If you saw the movie, you have something to say about it, get in the comments down below. Hit the notification bell if you're new. Hit subscribe if you're new. That way you'll know when we have our new movie review coming out. We review movies all the time, and we love talking about movies. That's what we're here for, guys. So yeah, now with that, we're going to move on to the Marvel part of the show. Now, this is the part of the show where we have a few interesting, exciting stories to talk about. We have to get into the Daredevil episode 8 review. It's the penultimate episode of season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. So Liz, I want to start with a few other Marvel stories before we dive into the Daredevil stuff proper.
Sure.
The first of which, I think you guys are going to appreciate this. They put out a new clip promoting Thunderbolts where they're like, well, before we get started, David Harbour's like, can somebody bring some chairs down here? And then Sebastian Stan's like,
we're all out of chairs.
They're all out of chairs. And then David Harbour just has a wry smile on his face. No comment. And I'm just like, yes. Turns out that both of their chairs are being used for that casting announcement for Avengers Endgame. Because they don't have any other chairs to offer. So I found that to be fun. Another piece of marketing that looks very interesting. On point with the rest of that movie's marketing. Speaking of Avengers Doomsday, though, we can talk about it every day on the show. Alan Cumming is coming back. And he was recently talking about how the transformation into his character, they've gotten it down to a science. Like 90 minutes is all it takes and it used to be 4.5 hours. Liz, we've talked about how the Penguin with Colin Farrell just taking forever in
Yeah.
hair and makeup, and then going out and shooting for 8 to 10 hours. That's just an insane schedule. How
Yeah,
much
I
does
think
it
he said it
matter?
takes them 90 minutes just to take it all off for the
Yeah.
Penguin. So yeah,
I mean, how much does it matter for a 60-plus-year-old Alan Cumming returning to
I'm
this
at it.
role?
Well, it makes me laugh though because he was saying originally they did all of like the tattoos on his face and his body like all by hand. Meanwhile, Rebecca Romaine just had pasties that were like textured pasties, and he's like, yeah, now they just stick them on. I'm like, why couldn't they have done the same thing for Rebecca? They were in the same movie. Like, why couldn't they have done the
I,
exact same thing? It's funny to me, but no, I think it certainly does matter. Again, I said this in the very beginning when his casting was announced. I was like, dude's a lot older playing a nimble, active character. So, God bless him. Not that I don't think that he's physically fit enough, but it's just if I was 60, I don't want to be running and jumping and swinging from shit. And you know what I
Do you
mean?
want to
So,
be running, jumping, and swinging now?
I mean, if I was getting paid enough and I had a good personal trainer, sure. I mean, my knees aren't the
And
best for it, but hey, it's
roids, but
not at 60, I'll tell you that. I'm not Tom Cruise. So I'm happy for him. It's nice that he's got less time in the chair, and hopefully it'll be that much quicker for them to take it all back off again too. So I love this man. I'm looking forward to him coming
he's
back, and
yeah,
well, yeah,
he's such
good
a
for him.
great actor. Alan Cumming is just one of like it's just one of those. Well, I mean, I know he's more of a theater actor, but it's just like whatever he does is just even fucking like Spy Kids. It's like fucking classic, great, and amazing.
Yeah.
And considering
He's got
he's
such
the
a great
only,
voice. Like he's
I mean,
just
considering he was the only like live action Nightcrawler for pretty much almost a
yeah.
decade, I think an
Yeah.
entire decade. So it's like there was like a lot of that with him, and and it's like kind of like ironic, this whole like nuance to this Nightcrawler character, because as like the whole basis of like mutants, they're outsiders, and like the bringing in the bigotry, and like as a gay man, I'm sure he brought a lot into the role. But the irony is that Nightcrawler is a very devout Catholic, so there's kind of like this really intriguing like nuance to all this character. And I thought, even though he wasn't like the biggest part of that movie, he was one of maybe even the best part of that movie. I mean, yes, the White House scene was fucking brilliant even to this day. Like that's up there with like the train scene from Spider-Man 2 in terms of action set pieces that are just legendary.
Yeah.
And have not aged at all.
Yeah.
And so I just hope the thing I'm a little worried about is like, because it takes less time, it's not gonna look as good. Like maybe there's a reason it was 4.5 hours, because they put a lot of time and
again,
effort
because
into it. So
they did it all by hand.
yeah.
So now,
But
thankfully, they've got the
I'm
Apple
still a
Pay. They
little
don't
worried.
need to.
That's all.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it'll be well, and again, they can fix it in post, whatever. If a piece
that's
falls
also
off,
the thing I'm worried about. Oh,
yeah.
we'll CGI it, and I'm like, you don't have to do
There's
that.
gonna be a lot of fucking CGI in
No,
this movie.
I know. It's just like I know the Fox X-Men movies get a lot of shit because it was like, oh, like Bryan
I love
Singer
them.
hated
It's all
comic books
it's all
and
I
all
ever
that
wanted
stuff.
as a child, so I'm happy. I don't care. Yeah. Yeah.
But I just I mean most of the Fox X-Men movies are fantastic, but I know I know, because I know a lot of MCU stans fucking like shit on the Fox X-Men. They shit on the Fox X-Men movies for fucking years.
When it's like it's kind of like the start of everything, but okay. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, so but yeah, it was like kind of like so yeah, I'm just like, I mean, I'm probably not gonna see the movie anyway, but like I'll like catch clips here and there. Like I've seen pretty much like Channing Tatum as Gambit. Just like I've seen the memes. I'm like, okay, that's enough. That's cool for me. But I've been hearing a lot of rumors about the story. We won't get into that, but this is cool. Like Alan Cumming, magnificent actor. Maybe he'll pull a Willem Dafoe where he's like, I want to do all the stunts. I want to do all the stunts. Or he could just be like, fuck it, get me a stunt double. I'm too old for this shit, but I want to come back. So whatever it is, it's definitely very exciting. I just wish I
He'll
cared
give it
enough
his
about
all
the MCU
regardless. Yeah.
to, same here. I've always liked those. I think the first one I watched was First Class, because I was a little bit too young for the original trilogy of movies. But
I
yeah,
was
good stuff.
just gonna say that I ran across a fan theory on the Den of Nerds channel, I think it was, and it was talking about how back for Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie, they filmed an alternate version of the post-credit sequence with Nick Fury, where he comes in like you're part of a bigger universe, and there was a version of that they
Yep.
included on the Blu-ray where he mentions mutants and radioactive spiders and stuff. So can that be the tie-in to how Doomsday gets into all of this? Because when Kang created the Sacred Timeline, that's not the OG MCU timeline, and maybe the Tony Stark we've always known was actually just a variant of what should have been a Doctor Doom.
Well, that's what they said. They said
So-
Tony Stark was a variant of Doom, so it's entirely possible. That
Wait. When the fuck did wait?
It was like the very beginning. That's one of the very first things they said. They said Tony Stark was a variant.
Did they?
Of Doom.
That was
Yeah.
officially.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
one of like the
God,
very
really?
first things they said. Yeah. Or
That
maybe
theory
it could have
might be
been
on
fan
point.
speculation, but I know it had been brought up. So, John, you gonna be there opening night? Are you?
I'm gonna fucking murder the fucking Russo brothers. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. My lawyers are telling me
Again,
that I have to say that's a joke.
Again, it might have been a fan theory, but I remember right out
It
the gate,
feels
the
on
very
point.
beginning, that was
Yeah.
what, because again, we were talking about variants when we were speculating who was going to come back. So we were talking about a variant of Captain America. We were talking, so we were talking about variants in multiverse. But that was one of the very first things that was ever said once RDJ was announced.
Yeah, I don't know if they officially said it though. Or
No,
if
but that's
even
what I'm
if that
saying.
is
I don't
true.
know if it was a fan theory or not, but I know it has been
Yeah,
brought up.
But
That's my
that
point.
theory
That's
I
all
came
I'm
I
saying.
across was
pray
very
that's a fucking
interesting.
fan theory. I pray to God.
Because that's gonna retcon the whole history of the MCU, not to mention like all these
Again,
famous
we're dealing with the
characters.
multiverse, baby. Everything's on the table.
Yeah, but it's one of
Everything's
those
on the
things
table. I
where when you
know.
shake the foundation of what you have loved for the last 20 years, it feels like people's connection all of a sudden you lose that because you're like,
And that's
well,
fair.
everything I believed in was false, so therefore everything I believed in was wrong, and therefore I don't care about it anymore. You know, like you don't want to people.
And that's
So you
valid.
have to find the balance between people not jumping that shark, but also being able to tell a good story where I guess if that is a possibility, then you follow through on it in a way that feels like it's not ruining the time and effort and emotions everybody's invested in this franchise for the past decade and a half. But speaking of which, I mean, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom look might have been leaked from his birthday party photos. Did you guys see this? Like, you see the
I
hairstyle?
love the hair. I
It's
love
from-
the hair. The hair
like,
plays, baby.
Liz, we talked about like the invite the other day, but like now we're seeing photos and what he looks like, and it looks like the haircut is pretty much the same as a Doom haircut.
I dig it.
John, is there any comic book precedence to this hairstyle that kind of?
Are we really talking about fucking hair? Like, is this like? I feel like Liz now. Really, get a life. Like, are we really talking about the fucking
I like
hair?
it. So
Like,
you know,
cool. It's a cool haircut. Like,
It
as a
is.
man who does not have any, I am envious. But like, is this really a news story of like talking about Robert Downey Jr.'s fucking hair? Like, is this really where we're
it's
at?
Slow news day, John. What else were you
I
gonna
guess
talk about?
so.
All right. Well, hey, I'm just because people want. That's the hairstyle. Like, it's clearly
That's way too dark for the MCU. No way they would ever fucking do that.
Yeah, that's like the
Baller as
multiverse of
fuck.
madness.
That is baller as
That's-
fuck. But
That is if Sam
Sheesh.
Raimi was directing the Avengers. movie, then
yeah,
maybe.
I mean, we already
Then-
did that with Doctor
Yeah,
Strange.
yeah,
So
that's true. Well, talking more about Doomsday, guys. We do have some set photos and video now of some of the sets where they're filming, and I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It just looks like a bunch of different potholes strewn out. Does it give you any idea
No.
as to what the heck they're doing here?
Yeah, a lot of heroes landed from the sky, and that's what I mean. Like that's the only thing I can think of seeing that.
But there is like this
Okay.
weird entrance way. You see that at the corner? Is that like looks like almost like a wrestling thing where like is this battle?
Yeah, or
world
like a
and-
concert or something.
Yeah.
Like there was,
I have
yeah.
a theory.
Oh,
Go ahead, John.
Now, insert the X. Okay, and we gotta show. So now we know that like we're gonna get Secret Wars, and it's most. I mean, the Russo brothers said that they're gonna derive from both Secret Wars, the one in the 80s and the one from 2015. So the event leading up to Secret Wars, days go by or something like that. Guys, feel free to tell me in the chat. But the arc that led up to the 2015 Secret Wars, the theory is that's what Doomsday is going to be. Like, that's the theory, that Doomsday is going to be that. Now, in that comic, it was essentially like these like the Ultimate Universe was encroaching upon the main continuity, and like the heroes were like kind of duking it out with one another. I believe this is what happened. Again, I'm not too familiar with it, so if I'm getting this wrong, I apologize. But so they were like kind of duking it out for the fight of each of their worlds. And so the theory is, instead of, main continuity comics versus the Ultimate Comics, it's going to be the main continuity MCU versus the Fox X-Men universe, and they're going to be fighting. And then at the end of the movie, Doom is going to take the power from the Beyonder, which is what happened in Secret Wars, the 2015 one, and he's going to make Battle World, and then he's going to be God Emperor Doom. Like, that's how the movie's going to end. So that's kind of the theory, what the vague plot is going to be, and this can feed into that, where a bunch of these holes on the ground is like the Fox X-Men, like they start fucking the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants and all that, all the characters from that are going to be hitting the ground, and they're going to like be, this is like the main continuity MCU, and they're going to be hitting the ground, and then they're going to realize, oh, the MCU people are like, oh, who are these guys? And like, oh, they got to like fight and blah, blah, blah. So that's what like a bunch of these holes are just there. These, as you were saying, characters falling down and hitting the ground and pavement, and it's going to be like the Fox X-Men essentially entering the MCU, and like they're going to hit the ground, and like that's my theory, at least. That's just from what I've grabbed from people who know way more about comics than I do in terms of the Marvel side. So that's my theory for this specific set video and what the context is. So
hey, I'm down to clown, babes. I'm ready for it. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Caleb saying apparently a lot of actors, I should say, or characters are dying in this movie. So
well, yeah, they have to end their story somehow. We're gonna be saying goodbye to a lot of folks, I bet you.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
Well,
but
the set looks interesting. It
definitely looks like a big fucking mess, is what it looks like.
It's Time Runs Out. Time Runs Out was the what was preceded Secret Wars, so the 2015 run. So yeah, just wanted context for that.
Well, this looks very, very interesting. Now the next story, well, I guess you've already talked about this, the Robert Downey Jr. photos, but yeah, I mean, if this is the version of Doom we're getting, then hey, it certainly adds up to everything else you've talked about. But let's switch gears. Liz, you watched Daredevil Born Again episode 8.
Did.
The penultimate episode of the season. We're coming up on the season finale next week. What were your thoughts on where the story is now? And then I guess after you give us your review, I want to hear from you what you expect to happen in the finale next week.
So somebody asked in the very beginning of this chat at the start of this show if Daredevil was any good, if it was worth the watch. They apparently decided to put everything in, like, it's weird to me that this is the penultimate episode, because they left it on a cliffhanger, which you would expect them to do with the final episode, which we're getting next week. And again, we've talked about them moving episodes around, so maybe this was something they did on the 11th hour. They decided that this wasn't going to be the final. But again, I've been talking about Kingpin and his wife, Mayor and Mrs. Fisk, and their marital problems throughout. We thought she was trying to unalive him last week, when in fact it looks as though she was actually trying to removed like the last obstacle they had from their past, from their previous criminal ventures. And she knew that the guy that was trying to unalive him was not going to succeed and was going to end up being unalived himself. And as kind of a thank you, I guess, to her, Kingpin revealed that he had been holding her lover captive in his basement for quite some time, and said, hey, I hate this guy. I can't stand his voice. I can't stand the fact that he touched you, that you had a relationship with him. And again, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, to prove her undying love and to say, yes, I'm in this relationship. We've been working on this relationship. Let's solidify this relationship. She unalived her ex-lover. So really functional marriage going on there. And
What
you
a
know,
sadistic situation.
I
Anyhow,
mean,
go ahead. Yeah,
again, it's my kind of romance. I'll tell you what, that's true love. So, and again, so as we know, Muse
people take
tried
notes,
to,
please.
right. So as we know, Muse tried to unalive himself and Matt Murdock's girlfriend, who was his therapist at the time. Matt came in as Daredevil, thwarted the gentleman. The therapist was the one that actually unalived Muse. And she's having a really hard time with that because she's a normal, everyday, average Joe, and she took somebody's life. Meanwhile, Matt is struggling because he knows now that Fisk now knows that Daredevil is officially back. There's make no mistake, and Fisk and he had the conversation in the very start of the season that, hey, as long as you don't put the mask back on, we're not going to have a problem. Matt Murdock said, hey, as long as you're not doing some Kingpin bullshit, we're not going to have a problem. And then at some point, Matt came to realize that Kingpin was the guy that hired Poindexter. I don't know what his villain character name is. The gentleman's last name in the show is Poindexter. That Fisk hired him to unalive Foggy in the very beginning. So now Matt is walking around with all of this stuff in his head and is feeling some kind of way, and it's affecting his relationship with his therapist girlfriend, who is having her own personal crisis going on. We also find out that Fisk has put 2 and 2 together and has realized that that his marital therapist is Daredevil's girlfriend. So everything's finally coming to a head in the penultimate episode, which is like helpful. We've been waiting for we've been wondering when all of this shit was going to happen and go down. So the mayor throws a ball. He, of course, invites the therapist to the ball. It is revealed that Fisk's vigilante task force of crooked cops are continuing to do crooked cop bullshit to the point where the police commissioner is like, you guys are doing crooked cop bullshit. And they were like, yeah, and we don't answer to you. So take a walk. So things are going to get interesting with that storyline as the commissioner tries to thwart Mayor Fisk's bullshit activities. But Poindexter, who is in prison for unaliving Foggy, breaks out of prison. And the mayor has this wonderful ball. And again, as I said, invites the therapist. Murdock shows up to basically confront Fisk and say, I know you tried to you unalived my best friend. Well, surprise, surprise. In fact, it was Mayor Fisk's wife that unalived Foggy, put the hit out on the gentleman, because as we remember, Fisk was out of commission for a little while, and Murdock kind of goes back in his head over the timeline, and he goes, yeah, shit, Kingpin was away. It couldn't have been him. Holy fuck, it was the missus. So he goes to confront the missus, and as that's happening, who shows up to the mayor's ball but Poindexter? He starts to load a sniper rifle. We think he's taking out the missus. Maybe he's taking out Fisk. We're not really sure. But Murdock, with his superhuman hearing, hears the gun being loaded and jumps in front of Kingpin as the bullet is fired in his direction and takes the hit for Kingpin. So again, that's how the episode ends. So we don't know if Matt, I mean, obviously he's going to live. We're getting a season 2. But like I said, you would think this would be the cliffhanger that they would end this series on. But no, we've got one more episode coming. There is the possibility, according to the comic books, Foggy fakes his death. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the surprise bombshell cliffhanger, that he's going to come back. Karen hasn't come back yet. I'm wondering if Matt is going to reveal that he's Daredevil to either his therapist girlfriend or his law practice partner, who's been also having problems with his, his flightiness. He's really not been reliable. We haven't seen Punisher come back yet either. So is Frank Castle going to step in? Because now Daredevil, we would imagine Murdoch is out for the count with this gunshot wound, even though in the very first episode he was stabbed like 20, 30 times and was walking around the next day. So I'm really not sure about the recovery, whether or not they're going to jump ahead a couple weeks or what may have you. But now Kingpin, Mayor Fisk, is in a weird quandary because he had this agreement. Matt broke the agreement, put the Daredevil mask back on, but now the dude just took a bullet for the guy. So
it's yeah.
Where does that leave the arrangement? So it's interesting. Finally, things are popping off. It was still a rather slow episode, I will say. Like, there wasn't any action throughout. It was really only until that end point. A lot of just back and forth of, again, these relationships. The Fisk relationship has supposedly been mended, but now Murdoch and his therapist girlfriend, and I apologize that I don't remember specific character names because I don't have the time. But so that's in jeopardy. Again, his relationship with his law partners is in jeopardy. And there are still a lot of characters that were in and out that were maybe are they going to come back? So I'm not really sure. But it's, that episode ended and I said, well, shit, what the hell are they possibly going to do for the last one of the season? So we'll see what happens.
Caleb with the jokes in the chat, but what I was going to say is,
oh Lord,
we talked about it before the show. It seems like this season of Daredevil has kind of got a similar problem to a lot of other Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus, where they drag, but then everything like comes to a head in the last episodes, and then you're like, oh my god, you're gonna have to cover so much ground. How are they gonna fit this into an hour? And then you end up being underwhelmed because whatever they end up doing doesn't quite satisfy like everything that's been set up and then like rush to a conclusion. So I hope that, Liz, you said like the next episode is going to be around an hour, right? Like 58 minutes.
Yeah. So this episode was like 47, 48 minutes. I was expecting the last episode maybe to be 90 minutes, 2 hours, but no, it's only going to be 58 minutes. So a slightly longer runtime than we've had. The very first episode was 58 minutes or 57 minutes, and this final one is going to be 58. So there again, are they going to cram a whole lot into it, or are they going to leave us with with one hell of a cliffhanger and a hell of a lot of questions leading into season 2? So we'll see what happens. But the damn task force is getting real shitty. They're even shittier than they were before. So I guarantee you Frank Castle is going to be coming out of hiding and cracking some skulls. Faux show.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm for it. I do not care for corrupt cops.
It looks like he's gonna have a bigger role in the second season because he's really
I think he will. I think he will, because again, a lot of these guys on the task force are doing things in the name of the Punisher. They're all huge Punisher fans, but again, missing the point completely. So he's got to come set the record straight, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads. He's gonna have that moment, So what's the difference between you and us? Hockey pads. It's gone anyway. I don't think Frank Castle wears hockey pads either. But Daredevil Born Again, episode 9 next week, the finale. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to pay off everything at the end of the season, but maybe that was the plan all along. Yeah. Maybe they were just like, we're just gonna continue the story next year when season 2 drops. So.
I mean, they went about a shitty way of doing that, if that's the case, but I don't think so.
But definitely on point for how Marvel tends to handle their Disney Plus shows. So I guess that hasn't changed. But hey, guys, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about Daredevil episode 8, and are you looking forward to episode 9? It comes out next week. In the meantime, of course, we have to move on to the main event of the show as per always, and now it's time. Finally, it's time. It's DCU Daily time. So welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. As always, I'm here with you guys to talk about Superman Peacemaker, Lanterns. I'm sure there's other stuff along the way we're going to get into. And with me today to do that, as always, I've got John. How are you doing today? And what are you looking forward to talking about?
Tired, and I'm looking forward to bedtime.
Appreciate the honesty, John. Well, to get things started, we're going to dive into something that came up right before we went on air with the show, which was Matt Bomer recently responded to an Entertainment Weekly magazine article saying that he was told he lost the Superman role because he was gay and likes men. And it just seemed like they completely missed the point with what Matt Bomer initially had said. And he responded saying, Entertainment Weekly, you know I love you. This conversation had nothing to do with Superman, so please stop painting me into a victim narrative for your own clickbait. I love my career and wouldn't change a thing about it. The conversation we had was about a lack of journalistic integrity, and now you've done the same thing. Please do better. I wish you the best always, Matt. So basically, he did an interview with them, and they seemed to twist things around in a way that was obviously clickbaity, and Matt Bomer was not happy about it. John, what are your thoughts on this whole story?
Just, Matt Bomer being base, like he's, white collar, great. Larry Trainer, also great. And I mean, I think it's just like, I mean, he did play the character. He played it in a Japanese Toyota commercial, and then in he voiced him in Superman Unbound, I believe. So it's not like he didn't like play the character. But that's not my name, so I don't know who you're talking about. But I think this is just based of him. I think it's great. Whatever got twisted, I sorry to him, like bro can't catch a break. But I mean, I think it's just like people like wanted to see him as Superman, and maybe he mentioned that or something like that, and then it just was like, oh, we got to talk about Superman because it's like the movie coming out and like all that shit. Now, whatever the case is in regards to Superman, whether what was said in the article was true or not, yes, because fuck Jonathans, they're not real Johns. Get out of that fucking JON shit. Fuck all y'all. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. But anyway, I think
John Stewart, he spells it JON.
The more based version spells it JOHN. And we're excited for him in Lanterns coming next year. But I think this is just great for Matt. Like whatever it is in regards to Superman, whether he was going to play him, whether he wasn't, whatever it is, I think we could all universally agree if, like if there was like a proper Superman reboot in the 2000s, Matt Bomer should have been that Superman because he would have been absolutely perfect for the role. The facial features, the acting ability, the body type. Pretty sure he's over 6 feet. So he would have been perfect, but whatever it is, but that's not in regards to this. I'm just saying that it's like sort of a side thing, but whatever it was he actually meant, then, I like how he's addressing this because journalism is like so fucking dead. It's deader than the Dead Sea. Like fucking journalistic integrity just doesn't fucking exist anymore. And I'm glad Matt Bomer called that out because everybody has been saying it for years. Everybody thinks it. So it's just cool that he finally called out people on their bullshit. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And then I think who was it that pointed this out? Elite Easy saying, yeah, Matt Bomer, by the way, if you guys want to check out some of his work, obviously he was in Doom Patrol for DC. That's on Max. But then you can check out currently, I think he's got a show called Fellow Travelers on Hulu, which looks fantastic, amazing. I've seen a bit of that. Fiona loves it.
And he's also in Mid-Century Modern on Hulu as well.
Yeah, that dude just works his ass off. And quite frankly, I would love to see him back in the DC universe, whatever character he takes on. So this again, John, I agree with you 100% with everything you just said. With that in mind, we're going to move on to talking about more Superman stuff as we do these days pretty much every day because that's the next big thing on the horizon. Rachel Brosnahan was being interviewed recently by Collider, and she mentioned that Superman is really truly not an origin story. She said, we come into a world that already exists. Lois and Clark are working at the Daily Planet. monsters exist in Metropolis. Lex Luthor has Lex Luthor Corp. We drop in at this point in their relationship that I have never seen before. Now, James Gunn also recently had said that, hey, yeah, these guys they're starting to date. They're trying to figure, like, they're not the same people. Obviously, they have philosophies that kind of differ a little bit, but they also tend to kind of support each other where they don't see eye to eye necessarily, and they're trying to figure out if this relationship is going to work. It seems like Clark is more into Lois, and Lois is a bit doubtful about it at this point in time. So the dynamic of this Lois and Clark relationship is very different from what we got with Man of Steel, and also what we even got with obviously Superman and Lois on the CW, John. So what are your thoughts on, again, what Rachel Brosnahan had to say here? Because this is another way in which they differentiate, I suppose, from the other recent iterations.
I don't want this to sound mean.
No,
I don't mean it. I don't mean it to sound mean.
Yes,
I don't
you do.
like.
Do it.
No, it isn't. I swear this is one of the few times I actually don't want to be mean, because I like Rachel Brosnahan. I'm excited for Lois Lane, and I'm excited for this movie. But James Gunn has said this
Thank you
many times before already,
Exactly.
so it's not much of anything.
Nope.
And with that, I think this is just a little bit of like sort of like a PR thing where it's kind of desperation to get the like more ignorant fans on their side of like, we swear this isn't just another reboot. This is like actually different. We're doing different things with this. So I don't blame Brosnahan for that. Fucking these actors got to like do a million fucking press interviews and press junkets, getting asked the same shitty questions over and over and over, all the same. Like, so it can be. I know everybody makes fun of actors because they don't do hard jobs and all that shit, but sometimes it can be a little fucking tiring. Like it can be a little annoying doing the same repetitive shit over and over again. So I get like, she was probably just fed to say this to get people on their side, which I understand, because like the Superman fandom is a complete and utter cesspool right now because of a very vocal minority, and that's a shame. And I feel like that's bleeding into the minds of people that are like, oh, I don't want to watch this because it's like, I'm sick of reboots and I don't want to watch this. And that's kind of, it's a whole rigmarole. And by the way, that is a word. Fucking look it up. I know people are like, what the fuck did you say? Rigmarole.
Rigmarole.
It's a word. What, John? What the fuck are you talking about?
Absolutely.
I remember Caleb said that. What? I don't even know what the fuck you're trying to say. I know it's a word.
It's a word, gang. It's a word.
Anyway, I'm just kidding. I don't know who said it. I don't want to call out Caleb.
I know I've said it before on the show. So hey.
It's just a fun word to say. But anyway, it's like, so it just seems like a kind of a desperate plea from people like, hey, we're not doing the same shit over and over again. And I think we're just reaching a point where you're like, you're never gonna get these people. The only people you're gonna get that are like kind of doubting, like, oh, maybe I'll go see it. Maybe I'll catch it on Max when it reaches that point. But you might get those people if this movie is starting to do very well, a lot of positive stuff. I think you're never going to get the Snyder fans. You're never going to get the people that are like, fuck this movie, Superman's boring, blah, blah. You're never going to get those people. You're never going to get them. So don't even try. Like, Snyder cultists are fucking in their own heads constantly, and they're going to boycott the movie, blah, blah, blah. So you're never going to get them. You're never going to get the people that are like, I'm sick of superheroes. I'm sick of Superman. I'm sick of James Gunn. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that. You're never going to get those people. So just stick with the people that you do have, which is a lot of people that are excited for this movie for various different reasons. Like, oh, I saw this guy in The Politician. I think he's a great actor. I'm going to go watch this movie. Or I love Superman. I'm going to go watch this movie. I love Mrs. Maisel. I'm going to go watch this movie. I love dogs. I love crypto. I'm going to go watch it because of that. Or I fucking love the penis bowl cut with Guy Gardner. I'm going to go see it because of that. Like, whatever it is, stick with those people, pump those people up, and don't worry about the assholes that aren't going to see, because you're never going to get them. Pump this, and this isn't like pumping the fans up. This is just like desperate a little bit. Like, it's just like, that's how it feels to me.
Yeah, no, it's fair. And like you said, actors are gonna, Rachel Brosnahan and also David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult, James Gunn even, they're going to be doing a million interviews between now and the time the movie comes out. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of repetitiveness. I just think the nuance to where the Lois and Clark relationship starts off in this movie is very different from what we have seen with, you know, Superman Returns. It was like a whole different kind of thing. With what we got in the later Superman movies with Christopher Reeves, it was very different. Tyler Hoechlin Superman and his relationship with Lois, they had a whole family, and with, you know, Henry Cavill, it was a different situation. Like that relation. So I am interested in seeing against. There's a bit of a nuance to where things are here, and obviously they're not starting from the entry point where Superman just gets his, like, you know, discovers that he's Superman, like Clark just becomes Superman, which we saw in Man of Steel. So yeah, I mean, you've obviously heard of that before, but I thought it was interesting what Rachel Brosnahan said. Speaking of Superman, of course, Superman Day is coming up April 18th. Apparently a new trailer will drop that day. It's not confirmed, but that's the speculation. I just wanted to quickly ask you guys, like, what are your expectations for the trailer? Like, what do you want to see from that trailer that you haven't seen so far in the marketing for this movie?
Like, I mean, I've already predicted that we're probably going to get it on the 18th. So yeah, that seems pretty obvious now, especially when we only got a sneak peek from CinemaCon. I want to see a little bit more of Lex Luthor, and I want to see a little bit more of Clark Kent. I think that's a good, maybe more sexy swagger, as Liz would call it, from Lex Luthor. That would be awesome. Wearing the what was it, Edna? What was it from? No. From Far From Home, the fucking Edna glasses, whatever the fuck those were.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of wearing those, and I was trying to make a joke. It didn't work. But yeah, those glasses, they look really cool. So yeah, maybe a little bit more Mr. Terrific too. Maybe a little bit more Guy Gardner, but like not like a lot, not a lot. I don't want them to spoil shit.
I would like maybe a lit, like give us a hint of what the story is going to be. Give us a hint of, you know, they all, like, again, I completely agree with you, John. Like seeing that last article, it's like, we know, we've heard it. We keep, like, why do you keep allowed to disclose anything else? But it's one of those, it's like, okay, so we know it's not an origin story. So what is the fucking story? Maybe give us that. That would be nice to get to, just to clue us in. But again, that first 5 minutes that they gave us was a little goofy to me. So I'm hoping we're not getting more of that, more of the same. But you know, I'll be watching it along with everybody else on the 18th.
Yeah, I mean, also Sinners releases that day, so maybe it will release in movie theaters ahead of.
I'm excited. I want to see the movie. Like I'm excited. I would say, okay, the main two things would be Lex Luthor and Clark Kent. Those are the main things I would like to see a little bit more of. I feel like we've gotten enough Crypto. I mean, I love Cute Dog as much as the next guy, but we got a lot of Crypto now. So let's see a little bit more Lex Luthor. We haven't gotten a lot of him. Let's get a little bit more Clark Kent. We've seen like a bit from him, but you know, Clark Kent is just as important as Superman. So, you know, let's have a little bit more of that. I mean, Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific would be great, but let's not spoil things. So just those two characters. Maybe. No. Those two characters and we're good.
Yeah. By the way, they did put out this comparison of all the different Shield logos over the years, and I love it when you get to see how it evolves over time. It's kind of like, you know, how you like to see your favorite company or brand's logo, how it's changed over time. Obviously, the 1996 version of that logo, that design is probably the closest resemblance to the one that we're getting with the new Superman. You see the 2013 Man of Steel logo in there. There's a million different other versions, the alternate variants, and then the one that we've got coming up soon. So yeah, they're clearly, you know, starting to turn this whole machine around and focus it on Superman Day and really celebrating Superman. They had Jim Lee and James Gunn talking about what was your first experience with the character of Superman, and the both of them talking about, like, you know, I think Jim Lee talked about like that cartoon, the Fleischler design cartoon. That was his first experience. James Gunn also talking about how he first discovered Superman. So yeah, this is, again, from the marketing perspective, they're starting to do all of that viral marketing where it's going on social media. They're not necessarily putting out a bunch of clips from the movie, but if we get a trailer in a few weeks, then I'm sure everybody will be really, really happy to see that.
Elite Easy has eyes for James Gunn a little bit.
What?
calling him a silver fox.
Oh, really? Nice. Okay. Chuck Rod in the chat saying, I want to know who hurt Superman so bad in the trailer. Yes. I hope that's something we do get to find out in that new trailer. I definitely hope that we get to find that out. But yeah, no, it looks interesting. This whole clip, by the way, on Instagram, check it out for yourself. It looks it's fascinating again because these are the people who are telling the new Superman stories, whether it's in the comics or on the screen. So if you get to hear what their experience with the character was, how they relate to it, connect to it, maybe that gives us a little more insight into the decisions they're making on the creative side with the character, whether it's on in the comic or on the screen. So yeah, I found this to be pretty fascinating. Now, moving on from that, John, we got to talk about Guy Gardner, the Lantern Ring. Liz and I talked about this yesterday. I want to get your opinion on it.
Whoa.
We now have this exclusive from GameStop. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. You can have yourself your own version of Guy Gardner's Lantern Ring. We know it looks a little bit different than the one that we saw Kyle Chandler wearing for Hal Jordan in that image from Lanterns. So what are your thoughts on this? I mean, this looks pretty accurate to the movie, obviously. Would you go get yourself one when it comes out?
I hope you do, John.
That would mean I have to fucking go to GameStop. Fuck GameStop. But
maybe online?
I mean, yeah, maybe I can get it online, but like, I mean, if it's like fucking $500, I'm not fucking buying this shit. But like, it would be cool. I like the jewel in the middle, and I like how it kind of has like a stone, like etching to it. Like, I like that, and I like how Kyle Chandler's, at least to me, from what we saw of the photo, I mean, we can only enhance so much. This isn't an episode of NCIS. Come on now. But that looks more like metallic, like it looks like made out of like metal. This looks like almost like a stone composite, more like almost like a spacey, wacy stone composite kind of vibe. So I really like that.
Yeah, I like the design myself. I mean, John, you are a collector of rings, so I don't know, like Liz was asking, would you even maybe bother on ordering it online potentially?
I mean, yeah, if it's like, again, I'm trying to build a computer here that already got like some bucks out of me. So like, I'm trying to save as much money as I can. But I mean, this computer is like halfway broken anyway, so I have to get a new computer. So, I gotta, but yeah, I think, if it's a reasonable price, maybe. It's probably not, but I can try. Like my buddy, his favorite Green Lantern is Guy Gardner. I might like get it for him as like a present. But outside of that, I don't know. I mean, I have my Green Lantern rings up here, my Green Lantern rings down there. Well, Lantern core rings up there, the metal ones, and then the plastic ones. So I think I'm okay. But like, if this is a reasonable price, I might get it. But
yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what other collaborations they do that are like this. Enterprising in the chat talking about Superman. Yeah, I mean the version of Superman we're getting in this movie is not perfect. He can get beat up and almost die, but like, so he's not immune. He's not all powerful, which I think is a great way to make him more relatable, obviously. And yeah, we all want to find out, was it the kaiju in the trailer that beat him up? Who put Superman down as bad as they did? By the way, we did have this image. Let me see if I have it open somewhere. This has been going around the internet. I don't think we really talked about this, but supposedly in the CinemaCon footage, once he's healed up, this is an image of like the after, that healing process in the Fortress of Solitude. I, for one, though, look at this image and I'm like, this looks very AI in terms of the lack
this
of
looks
detail.
AI generated. Like, it's definitely like the shirt's too tight. The symbol looks wonky, like it doesn't look right, and his face looks uncanny valley, like it looks like a cartoon. So I don't think this is real. However, I've seen a lot of positive reactions to this image. Like, there were a bunch of people that are like, oh yeah, this suit looks way better, this movie looks better and better already. But so I'm like, you know what, I'm not saying a fucking word to those people. If it gets them to watch the movie, cool, I'm okay with that. But for all the people here who are a little bit more aware, because I mean, we talk about this stuff constantly, I will say to you guys, this probably doesn't look real. This is most likely AI or photoshopped or something. Whatever
I
it
think
is,
so
I
too.
don't think it's. I mean, I'll be
It's even
proven
the
wrong, sure,
material.
but
Yeah, like the material of that suit, I don't think that suit is as reflective as this made it out to be here. And then the lack of texturing and everything, that's all signature of AI generated imagery. So I don't think this is real. But you know what is real, guys, is the new
our
teaser for
hype for
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
Let's
I
talk
love
about
the
that.
shirt. Just the shirt alone. I'm
The
in for.
shirt
Looks like
I
a
love this shirt.
pretty amazing.
This looks like that shirt looks like the uncle who is definitely going to cause issues at Thanksgiving, but like he's not like racist or anything. He's kind of cool, but he's like a little bit more
He's a bad influence.
he's a bad influence, but like he's still like the cool, chill uncle. Like, yeah, that's the vibe.
He's gonna tell you what you're doing wrong with the grill, but he's not gonna lend a hand at all.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like he's like I don't get these woke people, but like whatever. Like that's like the vibe I get from this image.
Yeah,
So
he's gonna talk about his latest Tinder date in front of the kids. Yeah.
Enterprising saying Peacemaker looks so much fun. Caleb saying he's the uncle who starts the political fights at Thanksgiving first. I guess.
But not even because he has an opinion on it, just because he has absolutely no idea what's going on in the world around him, and he says the wrong
just
thing.
genuinely befuddled. I will say though, like the big piece of information that dropped here, James Gunn himself saying that the season 2 premiere happens on August 21st on Max. He just finished a DI and mix on it, so he's clearly almost done with this. I mean, that looks like they've done the color grading, they've done the audio mix, and he's just counting the days now. This thing is pretty much done and dusted, and he's ready to premiere this thing August 21st. We knew that it was coming out in August. Daniel Brooks had recently mentioned it during the promotion for Minecraft, but now James Gunn making it official. This was all part of that same day when we got all that footage from the Max trailer where we talked about earlier in the show, with all the other programs and shows that are going to be on Max. And then they included some of this footage there, but then James Gunn decided to post it separately. It's really, like it says there, it shows there, it's 11 seconds. It's not much. I mean, so far, I think when you count all of the footage we've gone from the various mini teasers of Peacemaker, it all doesn't even add up to like 30 seconds worth of footage. But I feel like it still has given us a pretty good idea of where things stand. The other thing I also see here is clearly he's not always dressed, in his Peacemaker garb. In fact, most of the shots in this sequence, he's not. You see Jennifer Holland.
He probably just came from a Tinder date.
Probably.
Probably a Tinder date with Amelia Harcourt.
Was that a thing in the first season? I forgot if that.
I mean, they had like sexual chemistry. Tension.
Okay.
I mean, she's like the hottest she's the hottest female. He's the main character. They gotta do a thing.
Yeah,
they gotta do a thing.
Seems fair. That's
That's how it be.
Saying
that's
maybe
how
he's
it
undercover.
That's how Hollywood.
Yeah. Enterprising also saying Peacemaker and Superman meeting would be pretty hilarious. Elite Easy asking for some of that sweet vigilante footage. I don't know. That might be a trailer, footage thing. We're probably not going to get that until then. Chuck Rod saying the cool uncle that will take you to the strip joint. Oh, okay. Now we're getting
It's like the scene in Shazam where it's like, this is the first place you go to. It's what?
Elite Easy saying this version of Peacemaker rides with Harley. Well, there you go, John. Maybe that's your favorite version.
No, rides a Harley as in the actual motorcycle. That's okay. I don't mind Harley Davidson. That's cool.
I totally misread that comment. Angel saying I can't wait to see Rick Flag interact with. Yeah, I mean, actually, one of the things that James Gunn did, he posted a story that from a reel, I think that, or basically, Frank Grillo posted a story talking about the release date. Then James Gunn reposted it, and yeah, Frank Grillo is excited too because he's making his live action debut in Superman, and then his character kind of goes into Peacemaker. So, given that Superman, now that we know the 2 dates, guys. John, I just want to ask you, July 11th is when Superman releases, then August 21st is when this comes out. So you got like, Superman has what, like 4 or 5 weeks to play before the next DC things comes out, but it's still pretty close together. So, do you think they're gonna like give us that one episode a week? Is that kind of where things are headed with Peacemaker? And then also, what do you think about
Keep that train going
the closeness?
as long
it's
as they
just far
can.
enough, but not too far apart from when Superman releases.
Yeah, but I mean, my theory was wrong. I thought it was going to be right after. It wasn't. It's more later in the month, and that's fine. But I mean, the first season was like okay. It wasn't great, but I do like John Cena, even though he's, you know,
he's a heel now. He's a bad
he's a
guy.
heel now, and he's a fucking asshole.
Ironic.
Calls out even that
superhero.
fucking kid. He's a fucking piece of shit. Like whatever it was. But it's just like this is definitely his profile picture on Tinder. Like that's even with the fire in the background. But yeah, like I like John Cena. You know, I think the ensemble was good. Even though Vigilante is nothing like the comics, I couldn't help but like his character. He was easily the best part of the show. So, you know, I think Freddie Stromo was great. Yeah, we can see him now. We can see him.
I was so tempted to do a version Photoshop this image where I removed his face and like the body, and it was just like a shirt in the shape of like what he's doing with no hand and no neck or anything. And then, you know, it's just, yeah, but that would take too much time to work on that. So maybe they'll play on that at some point. I'm sure the meta commentary like that is not beyond James Gunn and co. So Figure Drawing saying John Trippin, Peacemaker wasn't good, it was awesome. Cena is definitely better than The Rock. Caleb saying, well, you know, those are fighting words, but it doesn't matter these days because they're on the same side if you're watching your WWE. So hey, we're still waiting on a full trailer though, John. When do you think we're gonna get a new trailer for this? Now that we have the release date, do you think we have to wait a while for the full trailer? Because again, August is still a ways
out. I mean, maybe we'll get one in like next month, maybe June. I feel like that's a good time. We're probably gonna get something in July, like a, you know, with the Superman hype train to really hype it up. So yeah, I think we're gonna get some stuff maybe in June and July. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. I'd imagine that this is gonna be a big part of this Comic-Con panel for DC. Like pretty much the biggest thing, yeah. Because by the time they go to Comic-Con, Superman will be in theaters already. So I think they'll be promoting this. They'll be talking about Supergirl. They'll be talking about Lanterns. But this will be like the thing that comes out most closest to Comic-Con. So I'd imagine they might even give us a full episode or two. Like they might screen an episode or two at Comic-Con. So I mean, Liz, I don't know, are you going to Comic-Con this year? Is this something you'd look for?
I won't be going to San Diego, which is probably when they'll do that. But it would be nice if they had a panel in New York. I think they did have one last year.
They did last year, yes.
Yeah, so I would hope they'll come back. But I'll be at New York and Rhode Island for sure, possibly in Boston. But San Diego, yeah, I will never go there. So, you know, but they usually get all the announcements first, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they do come to New York and they bring some stuff there too. But hey, that's our new look at the show. The VFX don't look completely finished, but they also don't look like, you know, they
to be fair, it's a show.
Yeah. So I'll, you know, even if this is the final article, I'll take it. Like I don't mind. Patrick in the chat. Patrick, we haven't seen you in a long time. Hello to you. He's saying, I keep hearing people say that Gunn isn't going to Comic-Con this year. Does anyone know if that's true? James Gunn, Peter Safran did say they're not going to make a big splash there. Liz, go ahead. You were saying?
I mean, I think that would be foolhardy, especially with how hard James went last year when all of these projects were rolling out, and how, you know, we kept joking that we couldn't get him away from a camera or a social media outlet or an interview. So I don't see why he wouldn't at least, you know, make one appearance or, you know, here or there. Like I said, maybe the major one, maybe San Diego, maybe New York. But it would behoove him, I think, to get out there. But again, he's got enough actors now between all of his different projects that they can do the talking for him. Again, we just saw it with Rachel Brosnahan, basically repeating what he's already said to us. So maybe he'll play it like that. But I don't see him slowing his marketing train down anytime soon.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And I don't think they'll miss the opportunity to make a splash because like Marvel is going to be doing a lot at Comic-Con this year. They're going to be talking all about Doomsday and the next Spider-Man movie. So I don't know how big of a presence they'll have. As far as whether James Gunn himself will be there or not, he hasn't said yes or no to that yet. They did kind of hint at that press event a few weeks ago that they probably won't make a huge splash, but they also don't probably want to promise anything that they're not. Because quite frankly, the plans for the DCU are still, like a little more fluid than they also operate differently than the MCU, where everything is sort of like scheduled tightly, and the DCU is a more of an evolving thing. So who knows? They might show up and they might do a whole panel. James Gunn had a huge panel at New York Comic Con last year, and he was there. He answered a bunch of questions, and he was with all the cast of Creature Commandos. So they might do something similar for the Comic Con this year in San Diego as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. We don't have a confirmation either way just yet. But guys, that kind of brings us to a close on the DCU Daily portion of the show, and we're not quite done yet. But hey, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about the Peacemaker footage, John's opinions on all that Green Lantern ring, the Mad Bomber story. I'd love to see him back in DC, whatever role he decides to play. And then, of course, all the Superman Day stuff. What are you expecting from the Superman trailer? Let us know in the comments down below. We'll bring your comments in on the next Q&A session, probably tomorrow or the day after. So we'll talk about it. All of our expectations riding on that new Superman trailer. So let us know down in the comments. Hit the like button while you're at it. Hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live at the next episode. But we're not quite done yet. We have one more thing left to go for the show today. As we always do, we look ahead to the next movie of the week. And that today happens to be The Amateur, which is a movie starring Rami Malek. And the trailers look very interesting. They've been kind of shoving it down our throats. Lawrence Fishburne's in it as well.
And Rachel.
And who?
Rachel Brosnahan.
Wait, Rachel Brosnahan's in? Oh, yeah.
It's literally the whole premise of the film, Dan.
I'm sorry. I totally forgot that because she's not on the posters. That's why. I'm like, it's been a long show. But, I mean, Liz, what are your thoughts on this movie? Are you looking forward to seeing this?
I'm really looking forward to it. I like movies like this. I'm a fan of Rami Malek. Unfortunately, so far the reviews have not been very kind. I'm not really sure what people's issue are with the film. For me, I would imagine maybe like the pacing. But I'm going to see it. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll let y'all know what happens.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this too. When I first saw the trailer for this, it was like in front of Gladiator 2. And I was like, whoa, this is really interesting. It's a remake, actually. It's based on a book from the 70s. Yeah, the original movie was like this really small indie movie. It was like a Canadian American production, I think. And it was like from 81. I think it might be on like Tubi or something. And I think and I've seen the trailer for the original. It's, pretty much similar premise, but the way it's like they definitely modernize a lot of the story here, like inserting like the hacking and like the technology and like that kind of, and like going bigger
stuff with Rami Malek.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Robot fights, terrorists for gotta avenge Lois Lane. But yeah, I think this is one of those cases where it's like a good remake, where it's like the original is not very well known, the book is not very well known either, and so this could definitely be something that really like modernizes it, but like keeps the core of the story. So I'm really curious about this. Again, Malek, Fishburne, Brosnahan, even though she's probably not in the movie very much. Holt McCallany. That guy who's going to be in whatever it is, the guy who's going to be in Final Reckoning as well. Yeah, he's in this. You couldn't win against a 90-year-old nun in an arm wrestling match.
Yeah.
Like, fucking brutal. But James Hawes, who is going to be directing the first 2 episodes of Lanterns, directed this. He's mainly a TV director, so it has me a little worried because usually the jump from TV to
I'm wondering if that could be part of
might not be great.
Yeah.
But I will say, I don't trust Rotten Tomato stuff, but the Rotten Tomato score looks good on both accounts. Like, it's got like a 70 critic and like an 82 audience. So I don't know where all the bad reviews are coming from. But and it has like a reasonable score on like IMDb. I think it has like a 6.8, I think, or something like that. So,
IMDb, I wouldn't trust as much, but I mean, the Rotten Tomato score isn't terrible.
I trust IMDb more than Rotten Tomatoes, to be fair.
But dude, Rotten Tomatoes is actually verified reviews. Like, these people don't just like, because IMDb, anybody can post a review. Like, you don't need an actual paid account, you know? I'm just saying.
Well, you need a Fandango account to do the popcorn meter, because that's how it is now.
Well, for people, yeah, because they need to verify that you actually saw the movie, you bought tickets to it.
But yeah, this looks and it's got John Bernthal, of course, Punisher. Hell of a year for him.
Almost forgot. Yeah.
And Michael Stuhlbarg. I've seen him in a lot
I
of
like
stuff.
him a lot.
He's a really good actor.
He was
but yeah,
in
good
the
cast.
Fourth Men in Black movie. Third one? Yeah, third one.
Third and fourth.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But yeah, really good, really interesting. I'm really excited for this. I'm excited for the drop as well. I'm gonna try and catch that, so we might do 2 reviews, maybe. I don't know.
Probably,
we'll see.
Yeah. And then is there another one, Warfare? That I will see.
Warfare. That has a 92
Warfare looks
right there.
awesome, and that is action packed. That's got the non-syphilis brother in it. John, his name?
Joseph Quinn.
See, okay.
Eddie from Stranger Things.
Yes. Yeah, and DeFaro's going to be in that one.
Hell, even that fucking Praise Jesus movie, King of Kings, has a really good Rotten Tomatoes score.
That cast is stacked in that too. Good lord.
You gonna watch that, Liz?
Good lord, no. I understood that reference, Liz. Anyway.
But yeah, this looks good stuff. Good stuff. Excited for it.
And it's not that I'm not seeing because I'm not interested. It's that I know the story, and so it's really and it's a cartoon, so it's just not for me.
What I will say about this movie, James Hawes is directing it. Isn't he the one who's also directing Lanterns? Or
yes, John said
that. Yeah, I just
said that. Okay, sorry, I wasn't listening.
Dan, you're not wearing your listening ears this week, my friend. That's all I'm gonna say.
Guys, I'm talking to the folks in the chat. We got Angel, who and I are talking about the Arrowverse in the chat. Caleb, I mean, I don't know what Elite EZ posted a weird emoji. Patrick is in the chat. You guys are keeping me busy here. I'm multitasking, but no. I do appreciate the talent both in front and behind the camera. Maybe Lawrence Fishburne and Rami Malek could be in the DCU. I wonder what characters they could play. That would be very interesting. But yeah, like you said, John,
Lawrence has already played a Morbius, so why not, get
it's Morbin time, baby.
So, I mean, yeah, John Bernthal, like you guys said, having one hell of a year. He's gonna have the accountant
Morpheus and the Punisher help Mr. Robot fight terrorists. Let's go.
Yeah, and avenge Miss Maisel. Or
avenge Lois Lane.
If you guys remember back in the Night of the Museum days, Rami Malek plays, Akhmun Ra.
The Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Fair.
And I still remember when somebody was like trying to get on their high horse about that. They're like, "Oh, of course, them still getting white people to fucking play Egyptians."
Yeah,
like, bro is actually fucking Egyptian.
And there's 2 of them. Yeah, bro.
Dude, speaking of Ben Stiller, they recently did that whole thing where at Bell Works in Jersey.
That's a way. Okay, by the way, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's a way fucking better poster.
That is an amazing
than the
poster.
fucking 2 of them. That's this is way.
That's a James Bond
better.
Poster. That's a James Bond movie poster.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's a great poster. Fuck the other one. That one's shit. This one's good. Way to go, Fandango. You made a great poster. Anyway, sorry.
That is
what you were saying.
That is an amazing poster. I was just saying Ben Stiller and the whole cast of Severance was at Bell Works in Jersey recently for the Severance thing. Like they were kind of, you could walk around and tour the building because the head HQ of Lumen, the company in the show, they shoot a lot of the exteriors and in the Bell Works building in Jersey. So, and Ben Stiller, of course, was the one who starred in all those Night of the Museum movies. So. Yeah, Rami Malek. That was my first exposure to him as an actor. Was all the way back in the Night of the Museum movies, and I can't wait to see this. This is one of those movies where you see the trailer, and the first time I saw the trailer, the first 30 seconds, I'm like, "What is going on here? This looks very so like this is where the movie." It was just like, okay, I'm in. Like they convinced me pretty quickly.
What if a guy who was not destined to become the main character forces himself to become the main character?
Exactly. That's exactly it, guys. Now, speaking of which, we want you guys to be the main characters by hitting the like button because we do appreciate that, and hit subscribe while you're at it. Of course, John, where can the good folks find you on the interwebs?
Here. We're gonna be hopefully reviewing The Amateur on Saturday, or not The Amateur. What are we reviewing? No, we're not reviewing The Amateur. We're not reviewing anything this week. We're reviewing Sinners next week. My bad. So if you want to catch my amateur review, you gotta watch it here. But then I am hopefully going to be uploading a video on my personal channel at some point this month. It involves Marvel. It involves Spider-Man, actually. So that's fun.
You've got Lizz's vote and attention, at least.
Yeah, so good stuff. Who doesn't love Spider-Man? And if anybody here, if somebody in the comments will go, I hate Spider-Man, you're a fucking liar. All right. You got a white Spider-Man and a black/Hispanic Spider-Man. There's like, it covers everything. So don't even go there.
Yes, covers it all. Liz, speaking of covering it all, what are you talking about on the podcast these days?
I'm working on trying to get guests right now. That's my biggest issue, as always, is scheduling. So it was the return of Micron Steve, probably coming up this week. But other than that, I mean, I've got over 80 episodes for y'all to listen to. So if you haven't caught up yet, Dan, John, and Fiona have all been on the show multiple times. So please check out Try Not to Curse everywhere you get your Audible content.
Yeah,
maybe you could get a couple of the people on the show, like the people in the chat, like get fucking honestly Lenny on the show. That would be amazing. Although we haven't.
I would love to talk to y'all, especially our fans who are overseas. I'd love to talk to y'all, see how things are going over there, get your life story. If I welcome anybody who'd be willing to come and Zoom with me and be on the pod. No empty offers here, gang. So it'd be lovely.
Absolutely. Liz will come meet you guys when she goes to like wherever you guys are living, like Portugal, France, Canada.
Yeah. I'll be in France this year, God willing. So yeah.
The chat is coming after you, John, for cursing. Try not to curse, they're telling you.
No, fuck you.
Watch your profanity.
You're not my dad.
We don't even succeed on my own show, so you know what? It's okay, guys.
One last
you should like have like a soundboard. You should have like a buzzer. Just like every time somebody actually curses, or like get like a swear jar, and then like by the end of the month you could like donate it to a charity.
That was the goal. Honestly, that's where it kind of started, and then everybody was like, well, that's stupid because then you would just swear on purpose so that you fill up the jar. So you're damned if you do when you've got these ideas, gang. I swear.
Tell people. Maybe like go back and like go through it, check that, and then just like do it on your own time.
Yeah. By the way, John, would you recommend that Angel who check out that Kite Man's show on Max? Kite Man, hell yeah.
Yes, Kite Man, hell yeah, fucking watch it. It's better than fucking Cape Crusader. It's so good. It has some like cringy humor here and there. It's a little like overboard with like the silliness and like vulgarity a little bit. I mean, there's an entire episode that involves a time traveling toilet, so like it's a weird show. But like Bane, Gotham's reckoning. I am reckoning on this toilet. Yeah, like that kind of vibe. But Matt Oberg as Kite Man. You got Golden Glider. You got all these weird characters. Queen of Fables. Really fun, really dumb, but it's such a great show. Go watch it.
Go watch it, Angel Who. Quickly, Liz, what did your board say there?
We're babysitting chaos. It was a quote from this week's episode of Daredevil. Matt Murdock's getting a little fed up with people being up his shit, but at the same time, like he's being completely unreliable and flighty because he's got his own bullshit going on that he can't talk to people about. So yeah, babysitting chaos.
Bro needs a therapist.
I mean, he's dating
one. Never mind.
She's trying to, but he won't let her in, man. He won't let her in. So
honestly, good. Like have her die and then bring Karen back.
I'm expecting that's going to happen. I'm expecting we're going to be.
Even though for some reason Karen looks like Mary Jane with that fucking red hair in those set photos.
Yeah, Karen. Well, yeah, she's back.
I mean, we know she's coming back. She's doing all the Comic-Con circuits, so we know she's coming back for sure.
We saw the set photos. She's coming back in the next season, and then that black suit with Daredevil looks fantastic. Now, we of course are going to keep an eye out for anything from the world of Superman, Lanterns, Peacemaker, Daredevil. Liz will be back to review the finale next week. John and I will be back tomorrow, and then Liz might be back tomorrow. We'll just have to see. Things may fluctuate a little bit, but we'll keep an eye out. But until tomorrow, guys, it's been a fantastic show, a long one, but we hope you enjoyed it. As always, hit the like button on your way out. Drop in the comments down below. We'll bring your comments in a Q&A session later this week. Hit subscribe if you're new and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live with the new show. So until the next episode, guys, as always, it's been fun. Thank you, Liz and John. We'll see you tomorrow or the next time on another episode of DCU Daily and Also Curious.